It's a high, deep drive into left field, and this ball is long gone. Safe, he got under the tag.
One hop the wall, and it lands for a double.
Want to ride into deep left field, and this ball is gone. Falmouth is going to the Western Division Final. Hey Commodores fans, welcome to the pregame show. David Korzanowski joined alongside Danny LaRose here at Doran Park. Game number 3 against the Bourne Braves in just 2 days. Danny, they looked good yesterday. Commodores getting 2 wins.
Yeah, it's tough to sweep a doubleheader. It's also tough to sweep a doubleheader when you're trying to make it 11 wins in a row, and that's exactly what they did. Everything was coming up doors yesterday. They won 2 two-run games, so still, close games has been the narrative throughout this entire win streak. Game 1 was a 4-2 victory. Game 2 was a 6-4 victory. The pitching wasn't perfect in Game 2, as we have really been talking a lot about the pitching. Wasn't as perfect, but again, the bats have been stepping up and getting a lot of situational hitting. Doors have been winning. Smooth sailing for the Falmouth in late July.
11 games in a row. That's a quarter of the season for the Falmouth Commodores, and Jeff Trundy, who's been at the helm, has been here before.
Yeah, he had 11 straight wins with Katuitt when he was an assistant back in 1995, so this isn't his first rodeo, but it would be the first 12-win streak for him if they can come up victorious today.
Yeah, it's tied for the 6th longest win streak in the Cape League modern era, which started in 1963. Here's Coach Jeff Trundy talking to Katie Florio about this awesome run.
He's got 2 home runs in the last 3 games played. A couple of them proved to be the game-winning runs. Thinking about Jackson Coots as well, had 3 hits yesterday in Game 1, went 3 for 3. He's been a mainstay in the lineup now. That's 3 straight starts for Jackson. The first time he's seen that all season, and why not? Swinging a great bat. So he's also towards the bottom lineup, and you've got Barron Radcliffe. All 5 of his home runs on the summer coming on the road, so maybe we'll see some more fireworks from Barron. All those guys are from the 5-hole down, so that's a huge asset that Falmouth can have. When they're shooting 1 through 9 with some power and a lot of contact, boy, a lot of teams wish they could have that.
It has been since July 14th, 2 weeks ago to the day that the Commodores lost. They try to make it 12 wins in a row. They'll be going up against Nicholas Graybeck, making his first start for the Bourne Braves. He's from Fairfield University, and we'll be right back with first pitch coming up after this. For Danny LaRose, Katie Florio, and Coach Jeff Trundy, I'm David Korzanowski saying so long. See you in just a minute. Welcome to Doran Park. It is sunny, partly cloudy, a little bit windy here in Bourne, Massachusetts, and towing the rubber for the first time on the Cape is Nicholas Graybeck. He fires a ball outside to the leadoff man, Hayden Cantrell. David Korzanowski joined alongside Danny LaRose. Happy to be with you on this beautiful Sunday evening. Doors looking for their 12th win in a row and 3rd straight against Bourne. Second pitch, is outside as well, and Cantrell, who's swinging a hot bat, quickly up 2-0.
Yeah, Cantrell was amazing in these past couple games. Has a 4-game hit streak going. 6 for his last 12 after a little bit of a slump. Those last 2 games were great.
There's a strike right down the middle. Calling the balls and strikes is Bob Del Ponte, Jim Fonseca down at first, and Rick Emerson at third. Graybeck, as I mentioned, first start this summer, recently added to the Bourne roster. He's going to be a junior next year with the Stags, as a ball misses low below the knees of Hayden Cantrell. Had a 3.55 ERA his sophomore year, a 3-3 record. Only pitched 33 innings. He was the primary closer for Fairfield, picking up 9 saves. Here's the 3-1. Swung on, fouled, back towards the parking lot here at Doran Park. We'll walk you through the Commodores' batting order. Cantrell leading off playing second. Tim Tawa on deck playing left. Zach DeLoach, the everyday 3-hitter, is back in that same spot playing right field. Trey Cruz batting fourth playing short. Jackson Coots, third straight start. He's at first base. Here's another foul ball back towards the Falmouth dugout. And rounding out the order, Baron Radcliffe DHing, Steven Moretto playing third base, Matt Nelson in the 8th spot catching, and Blake Dunn. Not often we see him at the 9 spot, but he will be down rounding out the Commodores' order. Here's the payoff pitch. It's high and away, and Cantrell works a walk.
Hayden had a ton of walks a couple games ago, and he had 5 walks in 2 games played. Stopped getting on base with bases on balls in the last few when he started hitting at a fervent pace, and now he's walking again. So it's looking like Hayden is really doing everything right offensively. His sight seems to be working out for him, as, again, working a lot of deep counts, getting a lot of hits, and walking a lot is always going to be a formula for offensive success.
Here's Tim Tawa, the righty from Stanford, for a righty-righty matchup. He swings at the first pitch and pokes it foul. Tawa, a .221 average, 3 doubles, and a home run. That long bomb came a few nights ago against the Orleans Firebirds in a 6-1 win. Commodores tied for the 6th longest winning streak in the modern era of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Looking to go back to 4th, and here's the ball dropped by the pitcher, Graybeck, and then he picks it up and throws on to first base. Could have been a double play, but it slipped out of his hand on the transfer.
Tawa got great contact. He really sent a sharp liner back towards the pitcher. Real strong contact on it, and luckily Graybeck couldn't stay completely with it, so Cantrell is able to move into scoring position. I'll chalk it up as good as a bunt.
Moves Cantrell into scoring position for Zach DeLoach, who leads the team in RBIs with 21. 345 average, that is 4th on the Cape League. Saw him above 400 for a majority of the season and then ducking down a little bit, but he had a great day against the Braves and the night before against Orleans. Graybeck pitching from the stretch. First pitch is a curveball, and it dies a little bit too soon. 1-0. Defensive alignment for Bourne. Giovanni DiGiacomo out in left. Judd Fabian, the outstanding Florida Gator, in center. Brendan Rivoli from UVA in right. Infield is very similar to what we saw yesterday, as Graybeck fires again low, 2-0. It's Xavier Warren at third, Cody Morissette at short, Jake McKenzie at second base, and Cade Beloso, who is manning first. Cal Cristofori also getting his first start of the summer. He's from Yale University doing the catching. So the battery mates both making their debut on Cape Cod. Cantrell dancing off the base at second. There's a strike to DeLoach, 2-1.
You might wonder why a couple of guys are making debuts in such late in the season, in late July. Well, as guys start to go back to school, maybe they are called back early, want to go back just to get some time at home in between, going back for fall classes, then you'll see some of those guys, usually local guys from the Northeast and from New England, coming through. And talking to Trey Cruz's brother, who was actually in town watching Trey play this past week, he was saying that the NECBL is often the spot you want to be, or maybe in the Futures League, because late in the season, if you're in the NECBL, you get that call up to go join the Cape for the final stretch.
2-1 to DeLoach. It's a ball just inside. 3-1. Second 3-ball count worked by Commodores hitters. They won game number 2 of the doubleheader 6-4 yesterday, thanks to a solid outing by Brant Brown in his first start and a 3-run bomb from Steven Moretto, and they won game 1 4-2. The 3-1. Fastball right down the middle and another full count. Bourne Braves 4th in the Western Division at 15-23-1. They are 2-3 against the Falmouth Commodores, who are 24-12-1. And an ungodly 12-4-1 record against the West Division. There's a ground ball, right side, fielded by Beloso on a couple hops. He'll jog over to first base and tap it with his right foot. Cantrell moves over towards third, and Trey Cruz is up with a man on third and 2 outs.
All right, well, so far, the Doors are getting good contact against Graybeck, just getting on top of the baseball. But that's always a good sign. The swings are even, the swings are level, and they're turning on these pitches in good time.
Trey Cruz, the switch hitter, who's been the cleanup man for the Commodores since about the 3rd week of the summer. Takes strike number 1. Batting .309 this summer with 5 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs. Second on the team in RBIs with 20. There's a curveball low.
Great pitch. Definitely below the knees, but had so much movement and a great frame as well by Cristofori that it almost looked good.
The 1-1 is swung on and fouled back into the screen. 1-2. Graybeck last summer playing in the Perfect Game Summer League with the Albany Dutchmen. Had a 5.10 ERA and a 3-0 record. Here's the 1-2 to Cruz. Well high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cruz with some family in town this weekend. We see a lot of players, families, and friends coming for the end of the summer. Just 7 games left, including this one, before the playoffs start. Here's a high, deep drive into right field. This ball is destroyed. At the wall is the right fielder, Rivoli, and he makes the catch. Hung up in the air just a little bit too long, and Hayden Cantrell is left stranded at third base. Commodores get good contact, but no runs. They score no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. To the bottom half of the first we go on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Welcome back to Doran Park. David Korzanowski joined alongside Danny LaRose. We saw Nicholas Graybeck in the first inning. He worked out unscathed after a long fly ball off the bat of Trey Cruz, and now making his sixth start of the summer is one of the seasoned vets here in Falmouth, Nick Nastrini.
Yeah, Nastrini has racked up 22 1/3 innings on the summer. So far, a 2-1 record with a 2.82 ERA, 23 strikeouts to 7 walks. Pretty incredible stat line he's got there. His last time out at Stony Brook Field against the Brewster Whitecaps was a win when he threw 5 innings of work, allowed 1 earned run on 5 hits, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Has not gone longer than 5 innings. 3 of his 5 outings are 5 innings exactly. Those are all of his decisions.
Picked up a win and a loss in back-to-back starts against Katuitt. And then a win his last time out at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. That was a 7-inning game shortened due to darkness. Swing and a miss, strike 1 to the leadoff man, Judd Fabian. Nastrini going to be a sophomore next year at UCLA. 6'3", 200 frame. Second pitch This is a foul ball over towards the Bourne photographer who's squatting about 20 feet from the right field line. Quickly 0-2 to Fabian, who is the leadoff man for a reason, plays center field for Bourne, batting .288 with 8 doubles and 5 home runs. Nastrini from the windup, righty-righty matchup. This one lifted into center field. Blake Dunn is tracking. He makes the catch for out number 1.
Something you see very often from Judd Fabian is that power. He really gave that baseball a drive. Leads the team in home runs with 5. Bourne, not much of a home run hitting team. They only have 15 on the summer. That's lowest on the Cape, and Fabian has a third of them. So you know that when he's swinging the bat, oftentimes it's going out of the ballpark.
Xavier Warren with 3 home runs of his own. He's got a .280 average playing third base tonight for Bourne. Nastrini delivers to the switch hitting third baseman, who fouls it away. Walk you through the rest of that Bourne Braves order. Brendan Rivoli's on deck playing right field. Jimmy Glowenke, who had a couple doubles yesterday against Falmouth, DHing at the cleanup spot. Cody Morissette playing short, batting 5th. Jake McKenzie playing second base, batting 6th. Cade Beloso, Cal Cristofori, and Giovanni DiGiacomo, 7, 8, and 9. Here's another fly ball. This one for Tawa down the left field line, and he makes the catch. 2 down.
Couple of high fly balls, but Nastrini's not really throwing up in the zone. That was just Bourne hitters getting underneath a couple of thigh-high pitches.
At bat, number 26.
Here's Rivoli, who made the catch to end the top of the first inning, as Trey Cruz gave a baseball a ride to deep right, but it just stayed in the park here. One of the bigger fields on the Cape, 395 to dead center, 330 down the left field line, 300 down the right field line. Off speed about neck high to start off the count to Rivoli.
Brendan Rivoli's been red hot recently. In his last 10 at-bats, has 7 hits.
Batted .320 with the Virginia Cavaliers last season. Foul ball off of his right cleat makes the count 1-1. Bourne wearing their home whites. White tops, white pants, red lettering. Falmouth Commodores with their road blacks, gray pants, maroon socks or stirrups, depending on the player. Maroon lettering with the black cap and the maroon F on it. Another foul ball in the exact same spot makes it 1-2.
Looks like a changeup that Nastrini's offering to Rivoli, and so far he swung at both of them. Probably both would have fallen out of the strike zone, so it really could be 3-0. But Rivoli trying to make contact with a couple of pitches that look really good. All of a sudden they die down. The best he can do is tip it off the end of the bat.
Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Looked like he went back to that changeup, and he gets his first strikeout of the evening. Just 9 pitches for Nick Nastrini in the bottom of inning number 1. He worked 2 flyouts and then a strikeout. He only fired 1 ball. It's 0-0 between the Braves and the Commodores as we head to the second on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Cal Cristofori throws down to Cody Morissette as the second inning is just about underway. Jackson Coots will start things off for Falmouth. And he's one of the guys who's been playing maybe better than anyone on the team, swinging a great bat and earning himself his 3rd straight start.
Yeah, that's the first time all season that we've seen Jackson in the starting lineup for 3 straight games, but deservedly so, like you said. He went 4 for 6 yesterday in both the games against Bourne.
Nasty curveball from Graybeck, just a little bit inside. 1-0. Jackson Coots' dad is in town. As another off speed is swung on and fouled to the screen on the first base side. Third base side. He was one of the reasons that Jeff Trundy came to Cape Cod. Mike Coots, coach of the Cotuit Cavaliers in the late 90s. They won 11 straight games in 1995. Ground ball to the left side. Cody Morissette fields it and throws on to first. 1 down.
It's a rare ground ball we see from Jackson. Most of his outs are usually on fly balls, and most of his hits are drives into right field. We very rarely see him get on top of pitches.
How about that for Mike Coots and the Cavaliers, though? 11 straight wins in 95. Now 24 years later, Jeff Trundy, who was an assistant coach on that team, gets 11 straight with the Falmouth Commodores.
It's the Coots effect.
We love that. First pitch to Barron Radcliffe is a fastball right down the middle. Strike 1. Graybeck working from the windup. He's got that glove set at his belt, brings it up to his face, and delivers. Off speed, swung on off of his right cleat. Barron Radcliffe, 246 average, 3 doubles, 5 home runs, 19 RBIs.
This 5, 6, and 7 Coots, Radcliffe, Moretto, really who I'm looking at to make a difference in this ball game. Talked about it pregame, but Coots and Moretto have been red hot. Barron Radcliffe, always good on the road, and he's got a lot of hits recently.
0-2 is sailed above the helmet of Radcliffe.
Barron with hits in 7 of his last 8 and 10 of his last 12.
Wow.
Didn't have it going a couple nights ago in Orleans, which just means that he's ready to get back into gear.
Here's the 1-2. Curveball that will hang up on the infield, making the catch by the outfield grasses Jake McKenzie, 2 down.
Loving what I'm seeing from Graybeck right now. You wouldn't think that it's his first start on the Cape because he's showing no jitters. He's hitting all of his spots, and he's got a lot of movement on his breaking pitches. That was a tough one for Radcliffe to even get around on, going down and in with an off-speed pitch. Best he was able to do was exactly that, float it.
Walked the first batter he faced in Hayden Cantrell and has retired the next 5. Strike 1 at the knees to Steven Moretto, hitting .211, 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 2 of them coming in the past few nights. The 0-1 skips just outside. Ball and a strike now to the right-handed hitter, Moretto. Last time the Commodores played the Braves here at Doran Park was July 8th, a 14-0 win for Bourne. Ground ball back to Morissette. He fields it on a backhand, takes a step, and throws on to first. 1-2-3 inning worked by the Fairfield Stag as we head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. 0-0 between the Braves and the Commodores. You're listening to the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
Right now, both pitchers impressing here at Doran Park. Graybeck has not allowed a hit. Neither has Nick Nastrini. He needed just 9 pitches in the first inning. And that's something I wanted to point out about him when he, first came on the mound in the first inning. He is so consistent. I mean, he just does not falter, it seems like.
Every outing seems to be putting up the same type of numbers.
Right.
5 innings, 4 or 5 hits, a run or 2 here and there,
yep.
Usually a couple walks.
and a decent amount of strikeouts.
Exactly.
No stat line pops out where it's like, oh, that was a bad starter. Ooh, wow, look at all those Ks. Look at that no-hitter, anything like that. But he's a great starter. You might not call him your ace if you're looking at a 5-man rotation. But he kind of, for me, slots into the 3-hole. Let's say Majinski's the ace, Aleman's the number 2, and you've got Nastrini at number 3.
Right.
I mean, you're looking at a really fantastic pitching staff.
Playoffs will start on August 2nd. Commodores have already clinched a spot. They could be playing the Bourne Braves in the first round. And the Commodores looking good to get some home field advantage. Strike number 1. Beautiful pitch on the outside corner to Jimmy Glowenke. But I thought the same thing. I think you have him as your 3 pitcher. You're looking good. The 0-1 is another fastball slapped into center field. It'll drop for a base hit. Jimmy Glowenke has been on fire against the Commodores.
Yeah, he's now 6 for 17 versus the Doors after that latest single. Continues to put up hits at a fervent pace as well, as he's probably one of the most reliable bats that Bourne can boast.
Here's Cody Morissette. He hit leadoff in game number 1 of the doubleheader, but moved back to his traditional spot in the 5 spot. He's playing shortstop tonight for Bourne. Nastrini working from the stretch for the first time tonight. That Glowenke single, the first hit for either side in this ballgame. Swinging at the first pitch, but just underneath it and fouling it away. We never got to the defense for the Commodores. Ta was out in left, Dunn in center, Deloach in right. Moretto back at third. Trey Cruz playing short, Hayden Cantrell at second, and Jackson Coots at first. The catcher, Matt Nelson from Florida State. Beautiful fastball right down the pipe. 0-2.
We didn't see Troy Claunch at all yesterday, did we?
Correct.
And he's not catching today either. Nelson did have 2 hits yesterday against Bourne, though.
0-2, spiked in the dirt. Nice stop by Nelson. Saw Matt Nelson in game 1, Taylor Smith in game 2. Troy Claunch, the third catcher for the Commodores, goes to Oregon State. Usually a little 3-man rotation for those backstops. The 1-2, swung on and missed. That's that dirty changeup as Morissette went lunging for it. It's the second K for Nick Nastrini.
Clearly been his best pitch tonight. Also got to credit the fastball as well. He's getting a lot of first pitch strikes with this fastball, which is what he's able to use to set up everything else, all the other off-speed pitch after it. But that changeup has definitely been his best pitch, and it's getting a lot of swings and misses.
Here's Jake McKenzie, the Fordham Ram. He shows bunt, pulls back, takes a ball. 262 average this summer for the second baseman, with 6 extra base hits, 4 of them doubles. One random stat, Bourne loves to hit doubles. 61 as a team, that's first in the Cape League. They had a handful yesterday against Falmouth. Here's a pop fly that should stay playable for Coots. He has a long way to go. Did he make the catch? No, he did not.
Thinking why they have so many doubles, just look at this ballpark.
Right.
Very wide
Not
and
the
deep,
same thing.
Deep corners in left center and right center. They have I mentioned it last inning that they have the least home runs hit,
right?
Only 15, but they probably would have, be middle of the pack if they were at any other ballpark.
Sure. 1-1 the count to McKenzie. Change up that he thought about swinging at, but he holds up. 2 balls and a strike. Glowenke over at first. He started off the bottom of the second inning with a single to center field. Wind blowing out to center as another fly ball goes foul. 2-2.
The wind blowing out to center. You got to be careful with Cade Beloso. He stands on deck. He's been struggling recently, but yesterday seemed like every single out off of his bat was a high fly ball.
Sprayed balls to all fields, but usually they were caught. Here's another fly ball, this one down the first base line. Coots ranging in, and he makes the catch, 2 down. Seems like McKenzie was under just about everything from Nick Nastrini. He goes down a pop-out victim.
Yeah, I wonder how that is. We saw the first 2 batters of the ball game also fly out. Now McKenzie popping out. So besides the strikeouts, every out has been in the air. And they've been getting way underneath the baseball. Usually you would think on a changeup, it's bottoming out, it's breaking, they'd get on top of it if they are making contact. Might be something that, and we don't have the best angle to really tell which pitches are which coming out of Nestrini's hand unless they're obvious. So somehow he's getting their bats underneath it.
Beloso from LSU takes a fastball on the outside. 1-0, 214 hitter, who was 279 during his freshman season with the Tigers. Going up against a Bruin from UCLA. There's another fastball. This one tags the inside black. 1-1.
He was a very highly touted high schooler from Louisiana, was the player of the year in that state, was the #1 first baseman from Louisiana as well. Again, like you said, great start at LSU, but a tough go of it on the Cape.
The 1-1. Off speed, could it sneak up the middle? Diving, but getting past Hayden Cantrell. Cantrell went full extension to try to stop it with the glove hand, but it snuck right underneath him. So it's a single for Beloso, now 2 on and 2 out.
Gabe Beloso came into this ball game 3 for his last 38. Got his first hit in a long time just yesterday in Game 2 in his final at-bat. He ended up going 1 for 7 on the entire day. In his 7th at-bat in Game 2, got a single in the 7th inning in much the same fashion. It was a slow ground ball that just beat the infield.
Here's Cal Cristofori, first at-bat of the summer for the catcher from Yale. Takes some heat on the outside part of the plate for a strike, and that's a welcome to the Cape League if I've ever seen one. Get a big, zipping fastball that's perfectly placed as the first pitch you see.
Yeah.
Righty-righty matchup here with 2 down. Nastrini delivers again, this time high.
The best pitchers come to the Cape. We know that. The best players come to the Cape. But pitchers especially, because so many pitchers are on innings limits, so many pitchers, need to be really watched carefully. That when you got a pitcher on the Cape, he's cream of the crop, and he's ready to go too. He's not going to be tired.
Cristofori's got a 1-1 count. He swings way late at the fastball, and I think Nastrini's sensing some blood in the water. He's just going to his fastball right now.
Yeah, and clearly he can't catch up, so keep going with it.
Cristofori, going to be a sophomore next year with the Yale Bulldogs. He is a local kid, like my partner alluded to, from Belmont, Massachusetts. The 1-2. Fastball again, this time high.
Cristofori took a real dip in his batting average between his freshman and sophomore year. Was 270 with the Bulldogs his freshman year, then down to 243 his next.
Nastrini from the stretch takes a look back to second at Glowenke and delivers. He spikes it in the dirt well past Matt Nelson. Throw down to third base after the backstop sent it back Nelson's way, but he does not end up throwing to third base. Glowenke now 90 feet away, and Beloso's over at second.
Looked like another fastball that Nastrini threw, and this time he just gripped it a little bit too tightly. Spiked it right in the dirt. Not much you can do there if you're Nelson, as he was set up inside, kind of middle in, and it all of a sudden is down and away, and he couldn't get the backhand in time.
First 3-ball count of the night for Nick Nastrini. 20 strikes to 8 balls for the righty. Time called for by Cristofori. This is a big pitch coming up.
Yeah, Nastrini must have shaken off Nelson 3 or 4 times.
Braves led just once all of yesterday. They were up 1-0 in the first inning of Game 2, trying to take a 2-run lead. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He went to that off speed and fooled Cal Cristofori. 2 strikeouts for Nick Nastrini in the second inning, so no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. We head to the third. It's 0-0 on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Graybeck settling in on the mound for Bourne. Ever since that leadoff walk to Cantrell, he's been firing. Retired 6 in a row. Worked a 1-2-3 second inning with 2 groundouts and a pop-out.
I'm really liking what he's doing so far. He's placing his pitches really well. So far, the Doors haven't been able to do much with it. Not a lot of hard contact from them. We saw some good contact in the first inning. Couple of unlucky outs. Tim Tawa lined one right back to the pitcher he was able to knock down. Trey Cruz unloaded on a baseball, but was maybe 10 feet short of sending it over the fence. But then in the second inning, Coots, Radcliffe, and Moretto couldn't really get anything going. We'll see if the bottom of the order, 8 and 9, can start things up for the Doors in this inning.
Nelson with a couple hits yesterday. He now has 4 base knocks on the summer, upped his average to 125. Still not exactly where he wants it to be, but showing some signs of improvement, Danny.
And not a ton of at-bats, so if he can continue at that pace, then the average would definitely start ballooning. But he was 1 for his last 19 entering yesterday, goes 2 for 2. Didn't have to play in game 2, so he batted 1,000 against the Braves.
Nice looping off speed, drops in for a first pitch strike to Matt Nelson. Graybeck fired just 30 pitches through his first 2 innings of work. There's another off-speed pitch that ducks a little bit below the knees. 1-1 the count. Doors hitless so far through 2 innings. There's another ball low. Matt Nelson, a Florida State Seminole. Going to be a sophomore next year after a .282 freshman campaign. Takes another ball just below the knees. And that's another thing he's done pretty well this summer is work walks.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 4 walks, 2 hit by pitches. He's got a lot of runs scored despite not getting a lot of hits. He's got a great eye.
The 3-1 tagged down the left field line and amongst some fans who went ducking for cover on that hard hit line drive.
Well, speak of the devil, has a great eye and registers that it's an off-speed pitch coming on middle in, so he thinks, hey, 3-1, I just saw 3 straight balls, but I got to turn on this one, and he does just a little early.
Payoff pitch. This is a single up the middle. Looked like a curveball from Graybeck, and Nelson sat on it, pokes it back up the middle, and that's the first hit of the night for the Commodores.
I don't know if Matt Nelson just loves beating up on the Bourne Braves or whether he's actually starting to come into his own. I think it's the latter, though. He's starting to see the ball a lot better. His swing is a lot smoother. I saw him working on the tee yesterday, and I thought to myself, man, with a swing like that, how is he struggling so much? But we saw it right there. He really works the hips well, gets his hands ahead of the pitch, turns on it, and has a nice driving uppercut to send it on a line.
Ground ball to the right side, and it's past McKenzie. Matt Nelson stops at second, and Blake Dunn takes the first pitch he sees into right field. 2 base hits in a row for Falmouth.
So how about that? The bottom of the lineup does contribute. It's not 5, 6, and 7 like I predicted, but it's going to be 8 and 9, the guys even further below. The 2 guys in the lineup who they're throwing in to try to get them going. Blake Dunn been struggling. We mentioned how he's not in the 2-hole, which is rare. And sometimes Jeff Trundy just thinks, hey, it might be a situational thing. Maybe he just doesn't like to hit it in the 2-hole. Put him in 9, and it might be the simple solution that you just move him around and he gets a hit. So far, it's worked.
Hayden Cantrell shows bunt, pulls it back, but it's a strike. Cantrell's jersey now coated in dirt after he went diving for a baseball that snuck past him off the bat of Cade Beloso. Braves tagged Nastrini for a couple singles in the second inning, but a big strikeout to Cal Cristofori kept them off the board. Still zeros across the scoreboard here at Doran Park. There's another foul ball on a bunt from Hayden Cantrell. 0-2. So it's, I've been saying Doran. It's Doran.
Doran?
Doran.
Sounds
I think.
the same. Sounds
Doran?
the same to me.
Maybe I'm just abbreviating that first syllable a little too much. Doran.
Doran?
Doran.
Now it just sounds weird.
There it is, Doran. 0-2, skipped in the dirt.
It's like if you say a word over and over again, it sounds weird.
100%.
Bowl.
So when I was scrolling through all those box scores to try to find Falmouth's longest winning streak before I got some help from one of the Cape Cod League historians, the word Falmouth started looking really weird to me. Because I was just staring at Falmouth for like 15 minutes.
I've got a funny story about that.
Here's the 1-2 from Graybeck. High and outside. Cantrell's worked the count even.
So last year when I got this internship, it's December 2017 into January 2018. I was on the phone with our own Rob Kaufman, our great boss, our great director.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm excited to get to work in Falmouth. And immediately, right after I said, he's like, yeah, Falmouth is a great place. I just felt like such an idiot.
Time called by Hayden Cantrell. He's going to wait an extra second. Graybeck finally steps off the mound and blows into that throwing hand. Yeah, the amount of people that I tell about, because I talk about this team a lot when I'm back at school, and when they see it in writing, everyone thinks Falmouth.
Yeah.
Falmouth. Because it looks like mouth as the second syllable. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. He kept it low, and Hayden Cantrell went chasing. First strikeout of the evening for Graybeck, and the first out here in the third.
Another great pitch from Graybeck. He really keeps the ball in that low zone pretty well, and he gets Cantrell to chase. That one was never in the strike zone, but it looks so juicy the whole way. Hayden knows that he's got to protect the plate, so he just tried to do a little too much.
Tim Tawa grounded out to Graybeck for the first out of the ball game. He takes the first pitch he sees outside. Nice stop by Cristofori behind the plate. It was hard contact from Tawa, but a nice play by the pitcher, who could have turned 2, but ended up just getting 1 after he dropped the ball. Check swing. He did not go around. No appeal down to first. 2-0.
Tim's been looking a lot better, too. I've been looking at his swing a lot, and his hands are really quick. Earlier in the season, we saw him try to pull everything, a little too much upper body in his swing, but now he's kind of simplified things, and that's why you see him hitting the ball a lot more frequently lately.
Hitters count with the 2-0. Fly ball into left. Ranging over is Judd Fabian from center, and he will end up making the catch. 2 down.
Some more pretty good contact. Looked like he just got it a little bit off the end of the bat, so didn't get enough onto it. And that's why it was an easy catch for Fabian. But great contact again from Tim. So far he's 0 for 2. Just can't get the luck to go his way.
Here's Zach DeLoach, who grounded out to Beloso over at first in the first inning. He's got a couple ducks on the pond, and Matt Nelson, who's over at second, and Blake Dunn at first. Those are the first 2 hitters to reach base with a base knock. Now no runs on 2 hits, no errors for both teams. Curveball, strike 1.
Great pitch. I love how he broke up the pace. We saw a ton of first pitch fastballs from Graybeck in this inning. Then he drops the hammer on the outside corner. DeLoach was was not looking for that at all, was nowhere near swinging.
The 0-1. Another off-speed pitch that ducks below the knees. A lot of great content out there on Zach DeLoach. A Q&A by our very own Maxwell Trink on the Commodores blog, as well as a couple articles in the Cape Cod Times talking about how he has really taken this summer to bring his game to a new level. Here's the 1-1. Ground ball to Beloso again, and he snags it. Dashes over to first and gets there just in time. So both at-bats for Zach DeLoach end with a ground out to first base. Commodores get 2 singles, but they leave both of those runners stranded on second and first, as we will head to the bottom of the third inning. Still a scoreless game here at Doran Field.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, The Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Nine, 1-2 coming up for the Bourne Braves. 0-0 here on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. David Korzenowski joined alongside Danny LaRose. Not much to talk about in this game so far. It's been pretty routine, I feel like.
Pitchers duels will do that for you.
Yeah.
We've seen Falmouth score early in the last couple of games.
And Bourne had a stretch which they just broke. 9 games in a row they allowed at least 1 run in the first inning. So that streak has now been stopped as Falmouth has been held off the board for the top of innings 1, 2, and 3. Just 2 hits for Falmouth, 2 for Bourne. Time called by DiGiacomo as the third base ump. Calling out to Nick Nastrini. Something about the uniform, I believe.
Is that it?
First pitch, check swing, but he caught a piece of it. It's a foul ball back into the screen, 0-1.
All of a sudden he started barking orders at him, and I saw Nick look down at his cleats. I don't know.
We saw some fireworks throughout the Cape last night as far as umpires. The game between Chatham and Katuitt ended with 2 ejections for the managers, and the pitching coach was also tossed. Swing and a miss on the off-speed, 0-2. Tom Holliday for Chatham got booted. Mike Roberts for Katuitt got booted. Home plate ump was Dave Vivieros. And then the pitching coach for Chatham came out for a mound visit as the 0-2 is spiked in the dirt, 1-2. And on his way back, the home plate ump said, "Hey, can you get me 4 baseballs?" Pitching coach did not like that and answered with a few expletives and something along the lines of, "I'm not a bat boy." He immediately got tossed as well. The 1-2 skipped in the dirt again, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Love the drama.
I love that. We
more
saw
of
an
that on the
ejection
Cape.
in Game 2 of the Western Division semifinal last year between Hyannis and Falmouth. Chad Gassman got tossed. 2-2, low, right at about the ankles of DiGiacomo. He's been missing on that, what he hopes to be 3rd strike. It's now 3 straight balls and a 3-2 count.
Yeah, the first 2 he skipped in front of the plate, so DiGiacomo obviously easily going to lay off. That one was his spot, but still Gio laid off.
Foul tipped by DiGiacomo, who stays alive. 281 average for the 9-hitter, just 1 extra base hit. It's a double.
That came exactly a month ago, that double. His first game played on the Cape was against the Brewster Whitecaps on June 28th. Hit a double. That's his only extra base hit, like you mentioned.
It's been all singles since then. To go back to the umpire thing, though, I think we've only seen 1 ejection this summer, correct?
Yeah.
Jamie Shevchik for Brewster. 3-2, swung on and missed. Strike 3. He went with the high fastball, and DiGiacomo obliged, 1 down here in the 3rd.
So there are like 2 punch-out pitches that people like to think of. One is the breaking ball in the dirt to get a swing and a miss, and one is the high fastball to get a swing and miss. Typically, you throw them 0-2, 1-2. Well, Nick Nastrini goes to it on 3-2, and DiGiacomo, after showing such patience, such maturity on those low breaking balls to lay off, he just can't hold up on a high fastball that would have been ball 4.
Now 4 Ks for Nastrini. He'll go back to the top of the order. Judd Fabian taking a ball high and away. He flew out to deep center field his first time up. Nastrini from the windup delivers another fastball. Foul tipped into the mitt for a strike. You mentioned DiGiacomo's maturity. The one word that comes to mind when I think of Nick Nastrini is maturity.
Mm-hmm.
He looks a lot older than he is. Extremely composed on the mound as a ball is hammered deep but well foul past the pole in left field. Because if you told me, if you dropped me in and I knew nothing about this team, I watched Nick Nastrini pitch and you say, what year is he going to be? I would say junior or senior.
Yeah.
He's only going to be a sophomore next year at UCLA.
He talks like a junior or senior, too. That's not to say that like all the other guys are too goofy or anything like that. You love seeing the personality come out.
1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Looked like he took a little bit off of it. And 2 straight Ks for Nick Nastrini here in the 3rd.
Nick looking so sharp. That breaking ball is so good. It's at the knees, completely bottoms out. This is the best that we've seen him on the summer so far. He's only through 2 2/3 innings. But again, the strikeout numbers are higher than we're used to seeing.
Already with 5 Ks against the Bourne Braves. He threw 5K. He had 5 Ks in 3 innings of work, his first outing of the summer against Yarmouth Dennis. His last 2 starts, he's gotten 6 against Brewster and Wareham. Ball 1 to start off the count to Xavier Warren. Flew out to left field his first time up, part of a 1-2-3 first inning. But I totally hear what you're saying about Nick. He's always not always very serious, but he does have that air about him.
Yeah.
1-0 is inside.
Guy who doesn't say much, but when he talks, people kind of listen.
Definitely.
That deep voice that catches people's ears. I don't know, something about him just doesn't seem like he's an 18 or 19-year-old kid.
Totally agree.
Seems older than me.
I would agree. And he's got that, and that seriousness, it shows itself on the mound, and he can be intimidating, I think.
Yeah.
Time was called. It would have been a strike. Again, we're getting some calls from the third base ump, Rick Emerson. He points into the batter's box.
Why is he involving himself?
2-0 is the count.
You're not. This is between the pitcher, the catcher, the batter, and the home plate umpire. You're at third.
Ball 4? Thought that unless they counted that third pitch as an automatic ball, or did I lose count?
At bat, number
Any idea?
26 from the University of Virginia.
I think you.
The count was 2-0.
I thought you might have lost count because the home plate umpire put up his both hands as if he was calling for time after the pitch was thrown. The one that we thought, would have been a strike. So I assume that it was.
We'll go back and watch the tape. I'm pretty sure that was just 3 pitches thrown from Nick Nastrini. Anyways, Xavier Warren is at first with a walk. That's the first free pass from Nick Nastrini in this game.
So we saw Rick Emerson badgering at Nastrini to start the inning, saying your foot has to be on the rubber. His foot evidently wasn't on the rubber. He's a guy who likes to work on that first base side of it, really toe the corner. And then he just started saying something else in the last AB.
Rivoli fouled off the first pitch. He chops one over to third base, fielded on a high hop from Moretto, throw across the diamond in plenty of time. Nick Nastrini takes a look back to Rick Emerson on his way off of the mound. It's another scoreless frame tossed by the righty as the Bourne Braves score no runs on no hits, no errors, and they leave a runner stranded on base. We'll head to the 4th on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. 0-0 your score.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Welcome back to Bourne, Massachusetts. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korzanowski for this presentation of Falmouth Commodores Baseball on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. 0-0 as we begin the top of the 4th inning. About time we bring in our sideline reporter, Katie Florio, to give us a little info on a guy who's due up 4th in this inning, Steven Moretto. Katie.
Thanks, Danny. And it's obvious you're going to become close with most teams you play on, but this year's Falmouth Commodores have a bond unlike any other. Earlier today, Steven told me they knew within the first few days that this was going to be a special group. Anyone who follows the team on social media can see just how much fun they have. And now that we're nearing the end of the season, it's common to see guys start to fatigue and want to go home, but that is not the case with this group. Steven says nobody is ready to go home yet, and that comes down to how much they love baseball and how much they love playing that game with each other. Some have even said they wish this team could be their college team. Nobody wants to even think about having to leave each other yet.
Thank you, Katie, and that is so profound to hear that you spend 6 months or even longer, but 4 or 5, 6 months playing with your college team as ball number 1 misses outside to Trey Cruz, and to come to a team where you're only together for 2 months, some guys even less than that depending on how far their teams go in the postseason. That's pretty incredible to hear. that they don't want to go home. They wish that they had this team back at school. 1-1 now the count to Cruz as a fastball lands for a strike.
Yeah, that is one of those lines that'll stick with you, right? Is that they wish that this team was their college team.
1-1, low pitch, breaking ball swung on and missed by Trey. He's down 1-2. He flew out to right field his first time up. Sent it a ways, but just didn't get it deep enough. Doors and Braves scoreless, both teams with 2 hits apiece. The pitch misses upstairs.
Because we've heard guys say, oh, you know, I really love this team. This team's awesome. I want to be a part of it. To say that you want to be with this team year-round.
2-2 misses outside, count full.
I feel like that's a whole nother level. You know what I mean?
I feel like we see guys get super close and they don't want to leave and stuff, but then when it does happen, they're like, okay, well,
right.
I knew this was coming at some point. And when that day does come for this team, I think it's going to be a lot more than just okay. Here's a deep drive into deep right field. This ball is gone if it's fair, and it is. Fair ball tucks itself just inside the foul pole, and Trey Cruz, who showed off a whole lot of power his first time up, gets this one to go up and over the wall. A home run puts the Doors in the lead, 1-0.
Putting on a show for the fam. RBI number 21, home run number 3, and I think that is one of the ways that this team has really exploded in the month of July. If you looked at their stats through the first couple weeks, they were close to the bottom in the Cape League in home runs. They were really struggling with power. When they were winning games, it was because of base knocks and stringing together hits. The power has come on in a big way lately. They're now 3rd in the Cape League in home runs with 38.
First pitch to the tall lefty, Jackson Coots, is skied on the infield. Cody Morissette coming in. He'll be called off by Xavier Warren, who comes down with it. Nearly dropped it as Morissette looks back at him and says, hey, that fell 2 feet in front of me. Just let me catch it.
Hey, an out's an out. But how about that from Trey Cruz? He hits it in pretty much the exact same spot as he did his first at-bat. Just puts a little bit more on it. And that's one of the shallower parts of this ballpark. It's 300 to straight right field down the line. And it was, what, maybe 10, 15 feet fair?
Breaking ball, swing and a miss from Baron Radcliffe, 0-1. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that one was going to tuck itself inside the foul pole. It did. His first time up, he hit one similar distance. Fastball lined into left field, base hit. Splits the 5-6 hole perfectly as Baron Radcliffe is now on first base with yet another single. But that Trey Cruz first at-bat, he hit it like a similar distance, but put it in deeper into right center field, which is a deeper part of the ballpark. This one definitely did not leave a doubt as long as it stayed fair.
And it looks like these hitters are more comfortable against Graybeck second time through the order, especially, obviously, in this half inning. Cruz, Coots, and Radcliffe working longer at-bats.
First pitch to Steven Moretto is a breaking ball taken below the knees. Moretto grounded out to short his first time up. That ended the second inning. Steven from Sacramento State, who mentioned to Katie that this team has a bond like no other. A lot of guys wish they could take each other back with them when they go back to school. Pickoff move to first, nothing doing.
When we're a part of it every day, it can be easy to lose perspective. Mm-hmm. But I think summer baseball is special and unique.
1-0, popped up into shallow right field. Going out and calling for it is the second baseman, Jake McKenzie, and that's the second out of the inning, both of them on pop-outs.
Summer baseball is special and unique. And you got 3 months. These guys are from all over the country. And especially a league like the Cape, they're some of the best players at this level. Something about Falmouth, it's even more special. And we've seen it, the last couple of years, getting to know these guys. And when you have, 3 doubleheaders in 5 days, it might be easy to lose perspective and to think about all you have to do day to day. But I don't know, it's really special seeing what these guys do and the bond that they'll have going forward.
Matt Nelson kicks some dirt around in the right-hand batter's box before he takes his second at-bat of the ball game. He's 1 for 1 with a single that led off the third but was stranded on second base. 2 outs and Radcliffe on first in a 1-0 game. First pitch swinging Nelson, grounds one foul. And you know that I'm very intrigued by this question. And Trey Cruz is the difference as we head to the home fourth, 1-0 in favor of the Commodores.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
We welcome you back to Doran Park in Bourne, Massachusetts. The Falmouth Commodores leading the Bourne Braves by a score of 1-0 thanks to a Trey Cruz home run last half inning. Now it'll be on to Nick Nastrini to lock down Bourne in the 4th and keep this a 1-run ball game. He'll have to get through 4, 5, and 6 in the Braves batting order. Jimmy Glowenke, Cody Morissette, and Jake McKenzie. First pitch to the right-hander from Dallas Baptist is the fastball in the outside corner for a strike.
Wait, are the Commodores in a close game? That's so crazy.
As per usual.
What?
The 0-1-2 Glowenke. Line drive into center field. He really tagged it, sent Blake Dunn a couple steps back, but Dunn comes down with it as Glowenke continues to rake. We saw him rack up a couple of hits in Game 2 yesterday, a couple of doubles, a sacrifice fly, 2 RBIs, has a single already today, and a loud out number 1.
And that's a much tougher play than it looks for Blake Dunn, because when a pop fly isn't hit as high in the air, you can't really track it as well, and it can be tough to tell how fast it's moving. Took about a half step in, then had to actually move back.
Here's a first pitch swing from Cody Morissette, and he shoots one into right field, gets a single out of it. He improves to 1 for 2, and the Braves have a 1-out base runner.
At bat, number 2 from Fordham University.
Good contact right now for Glowenke and Morissette. 2 of the better hitters on this team. Glowenke singled and reached third base in the 2nd inning. Morissette struck out, but he goes back up. First pitch, fastball. Was well in front of it and got it into right field.
Nastrini from the stretch. Kicks and fires that front leg. Ground ball over towards second. This is past the diving Hayden Cantrell and into center field. Another base hit in a similar location. We saw one earlier. I believe it was Cade Beloso who pushed it up the middle right there. And again, Cantrell gets his jersey caked in dirt, but comes up without a baseball.
Nastrini a little bit frustrated. Not often that he shows too much emotion on the mound, but he was sort of kicking himself after 2 pitches and 2 singles for the Bourne Braves. And I think you just got to mix it up a little bit more on first pitch, because those 2 guys knew exactly what Nastrini was going to throw.
Yeah.
Made him pay.
Falmouth Commodores have the best whip on the Cape. Their walks and hits per innings pitched is at 1.21, which again leads the Cape. And right now, Nastrini's a little above that pace. But he starts off Beloso with a big breaker, gets a swing and a miss. That's exactly what you recommended.
Yeah, exactly, because Beloso looked like he was way in front of it. By the time he realized that it was off speed, he tried to slow down the swing, and that's exactly what you want to do. Keep him guessing.
No balls, 1 strike with runner on first and second. Nastrini's pitch, another breaking ball, another defensive swing, and a foul ball up and over the dugout.
Exactly. I think he went change-up curveball on pitches 1 and 2 to Beloso. And a strikeout here would be huge.
He's got Cade down 0-2. Beloso 1 for 1, had a single back in the 2nd inning, ended up being stranded on second base. Righty-lefty matchup, the lefty Beloso from Louisiana State. Settles himself back in as Nastrini comes from the stretch. Looks back the runner at second a few times, now fires home the 0-2. Goes up and away with a fastball, and again it's fouled off.
To go back to one of my earlier points in this half inning, though, another close game for the Commodores, and this is something that's going to really, I think, pay them well come the playoffs because they're going to be in close games and they're going to need to win them. During this winning streak in which the Commodores have now beaten 11 straight opponents, they have won 8 games by 2 runs or less. Absolutely unheard of.
Mastrini with another 0-2. Goes back to the breaking ball and gets a swing and a miss out of Beloso. Strike 3 against Cade. Both runners have to stay put, and there are now 2 outs here in the 4th.
And that's his biggest strikeout of the night because he gets tagged for a couple base hits from hitters 5 and 6. Bourne starting to put something together, but then he mixes it up a little bit more with some help from Matt Nelson, his catcher, and gets Beloso, a guy who singled off of him in the 2nd inning, without throwing a ball.
First pitch to the right-handed catcher, Cal Cristofori, is lofted into left field. That one is high and playable for the left fielder, Tim Tawa, who comes down with it to retire the side. Nick Nastrini allows a couple base runners, but gets out of the inning, allowing no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. To the top of the 5th we go. 1-0 in favor of the Commodores.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Welcome back to Bourne as the Commodores coming back up to the plate in the top of the 5th, trying to extend on their 1-0 lead. They'll be led off by Blake Dunn, then it's on to the top of the order. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korzanowski. David, we were just talking about it, but there's a lot of Doors fans here in Bourne. A lot of fans in general for a beautiful Sunday evening. Trying to cap off this nice weekend with a baseball game, but a lot of Doors fans have been paying attention to this team and following them along the way.
Doors fans and Cape League fans. I mean, we're getting tweets, you and I, our personal accounts, our writer and sideline reporter, basically everyone on our media team. People are starting to really follow this streak. It is historic. It's tied for the 6th longest in the Cape League history, and that's the modern era, so from 1963 on. You see people from the Cape Cod Times, reporters on the Cape League, who are now coming to Commodores games to see if they can extend the streak. It's really special, and it's fun to be a part of, and it's one of the many good things that come with winning.
Yes, and the team is having a lot of fun with it, too. They have been saying, 11's not enough. They're trying to push 12, and they definitely have more on the docket after that because they're saying one day at a time, but do have sights on a playoff run as a new pitcher is going to step into the ballgame for the Bourne Braves. So day is done for Graybeck. Now it's going to be Jared Poland, who we saw at the plate yesterday. Now he'll be on the mound.
Yeah, he's a two-way player that head coach Harvey Shapiro uses in both aspects. He's got a 2-1 record on the mound with a 4.69 ERA. This is his 7th appearance, thrown just 7 2/3 innings.
First pitch to Blake Dunn, breaks his bat in half, and he gets a bloop hit into right field up the first base line. A wacky, wild single for Blake Dunn, but he improves to 2 for 2.
And he strums the banjo after that bloop single. He's now 2 for 2, as you said. He's having a really good day at the plate in the 9 spot for the first time in recent memory. And that bat was destroyed. I mean, that was a pitch on the inside part of the plate from Jared Poland and broke his bat right in half. We saw a few splinters go down the third base line, but it shows that he really put a good swing on it if that ball still went into right field on a fly.
Jeff Trundy plugging the right buttons because Blake Dunn was a mainstay at the 2-hole pretty much all season. And then he starts struggling. He moves him over to the 9-hole, saying maybe he just needs a change of scenery. So far, so good. He's batting 1,000 in the 9-hole.
And another really smart move because you still have Dunn and Cantrell hitting back-to-back.
Yep.
because usually it was at the top of the order with Cantrell leading off and Dunn hitting 2. And you want that speed, and you want those guys up at the plate or on the bases together.
This ball misses below the knees to make it 2-0 to Hayden Cantrell. Skips away from the catcher Cristofori. On to second goes Blake Dunn, and the Doors have a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
This could be an inning where they really, break things open because the top of the order's coming up. This is a new pitcher who's struggling the first couple batters that he's faced.
Two balls, no strikes to Cantrell. Has 3 home runs and 13 ribbies on the year. Swings and misses at a high fastball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hayden has all of his home runs and all of his RBIs at home. Yesterday he tagged on another RBI. It was in game 1 of the doubleheader on a double. He was excellent in both those games. Had 2 doubles in game 2 and 3 hits in game 1. Poland's 1-2. On the inside corner, strike 3 called. Cantrell doesn't like it, but he'll walk back to the dugout, a strikeout victim for the 2nd time in a row.
And he struck out swinging on a battle that Grayback won in the 3rd inning.
Number 17 from Stanford
But
University,
Poland
Tim Tawa.
painting the corners. Again, Cantrell not liking the call, but that's baseball, right? I mean, one day you're on top of the world. You have a great day in a doubleheader, and then next day you might come back to earth a little bit.
Tim Tawa is going to come up to the plate 0 for 2. He's still got Dunn on second, who's got a lot of speed, so a single should score him. Dunn straggling way off the bag, and he forces Poland to look him back. We saw, or heard rather, a chorus of watch out from the dugout on the third base side. Poland resets, kicks home with the first pitch, a big looping curve, swung on and missed. Bounced in front of the plate, but Tawa still chased.
Yeah, and that was a good-looking pitch. Out of the hand, it looked like it might have been a fastball coming in at the knees. I think that's what Tawa thought it was. But it had some action from side to side and moved into the left-hand batter's box. It's a really good pitch from Poland.
Tim, with hits in 5 of his last 6 games played, has made sharp contact so far in his 2 at-bats. The 0-1, another big breaker, paints the knees. All Tawa can do is just kind of look up and grimace because that one was a beauty.
Yeah, he's got some nasty stuff right now, does Poland.
I love seeing these two-way players effective at both positions. You don't ever really see it.
Yeah.
Usually they force these guys to choose out of high school. Lately we've been seeing it more frequently. Fastball misses down and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. We know the Doors have a couple of those guys. Austin Langworthy comes to mind, but he doesn't really get to pitch much at Florida. Tyler Ross, meanwhile, great hitter for Falmouth, also has gotten a couple of starts. He's a guy who it's like you don't want him to have to choose because he's so valuable in both departments.
And for now he doesn't, right? He can
Right.
keep doing both.
1-2 to the righty from Stanford is a high fastball that's fouled back into the screen behind home plate. Who's the Tampa Bay Ray who started as a pitcher, shoved in his major league appearance, and then the very next day was slotted into the batting order as a DH? Brendan McKay. Thank you, Maxwell Trank, our producer and web reporter who knows everything baseball. Brendan McKay was one of the first guys that comes to mind in Major League Baseball in recent memory who's a two-way player. 2-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. Another big breaker that fell in front of the plate, and Tawa couldn't hold up. Back-to-back strikeouts from Poland makes 2 outs.
How about that response from the righty from Louisville? Gives up a single to Blake Dunn. Broken bat into right field, and then he goes up against hitters 1 and 2 and strikes them both out. That was the same pitch that he got the first swing and a miss on from Tim Tawa. It was that, I think it was a slider, breaking from the left side of the plate to the right. And he gets Tawa. He tried to hold up on the swing, but just too late.
Zach DeLoach will step up to the plate for his 3rd time. He's 0 for 2 after entering the game, 5 for his last 11. First pitch, fastball up in the zone, fouled away. DeLoach with a couple of rollers onto first base, both of them fielded by Beloso himself. Zach came into the ballgame 4 for 12 versus the Braves. Played in 4 games against Bourne so far. His .345 average, good for 3rd on the Cape. Needs a couple more hits if he wants to elevate it, though. The righty fires home to the lefty, and it's swung on and missed. Another good off-speed pitch makes it 0-2. And that breaking ball is just getting everybody swinging.
Yeah, he looks really good. Had a 4.12 ERA during his freshman season with the Louisville Cardinals. 2-1 record, 16 appearances. Was kind of used in the same role that he's been used here in Bourne, middle relief for an inning or two.
The 0-2 to Deloach. Fastball fouled away up along the third base side and well out of play, so we'll try again.
And at the plate during his freshman season, he was 2-11, 12 hits, 4 doubles. He had a double yesterday against the Commodores.
Zach Deloach, who's got a lot of doubles to his ledger on the summer. He leads the team in doubles with 8. Sure, he would love one right here. Yesterday had a 2 RBI double in game 1 of the first inning. Here's the pitch. Fastball lined foul again.
And I think he's seeing the ball better right now than he was in his first couple at-bats. Worked a full count in the first inning and then grounded out both then and in the third.
Zach Deloach, after a sophomore year at Texas A&M where he only hit .205 with 16 RBIs, has made himself a candidate for Cape League MVP. Although I don't know, the Doors playing this well might hurt him, but he's definitely put up the stat line that could help him out. Just on a very good team. The 0-2 again from Poland. Breaking ball nubbed up towards the shortstop Morissette. He's going to field it on a bare hand. His throw to first. Not in time. Zach Deloach legs out an infield single. Blake Dunn advances to third base, and the Doors keep the inning alive.
And that was just about a perfect play by Morissette. There was not much more he could have done. He fielded that on a bare hand, immediately threw over to first base. Deloach with some sneaky speed. He's got several stolen bases this summer. He really busted out of the box and wanted to keep this inning going. And now we get the hottest bat on the team right now with a home run in his last at-bat. He comes up with 2 runners on and 2 outs.
Trey in his last at-bat tied Zach Deloach for the team lead in RBIs at 21. Now he's got a golden opportunity to take sole possession of the team lead with Dunn on third, Deloach on first, and 2 away. Cruz 1 for 2 after that solo shot in the fourth. First pitch from Poland to the switch hitter batting left is taken too far inside. Trey, a batting average now up above 310. It's entire top of the order for Falmouth, batting over 300. Except for Tawa, as that fastball's fouled away. How about that? 3 of your top 4 hitters are right around the 300 mark.
Yeah, I mean, that's Wareham Gateman number from early July. I mean, that was a team with a batting average at 288 when the Doors first played them at the start of this win streak. They had a handful of guys hitting above 300.
Here's the 1-1 to Cruz. Another snipe foul. It was a high fastball, went with it, just couldn't turn on it quick enough to keep it in play.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Started his swing just a hair late, made good contact, but pretty behind on it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Cruz, the infielder from Rice University. The Louisville Cardinal Poland comes set, that glove right near his chin. Kicks and fires. Fastball down and in.
Bourne Braves really need this out. They don't want to go down by more than a couple runs because it seemed like when the Doors scored 4 runs in innings 1 and 2 yesterday, they were kind of out for the count.
Poland's 2-2 offering. Breaking ball cut on and missed. Strike 3. Went with a big curveball, and Cruz just couldn't make contact, as that is now the 3rd strikeout for Poland, all of them coming in this inning, as the Doors score no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and strand a couple runners on base. To the bottom of the 5th we go. 1-0 your score.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Home fifth set to get underway from Doran Park in Bourne. Giovanni DiGiacomo will lead off for the Braves, who trail 1-0. It'll be DiGiacomo followed by Fabian and Warren, 9, 1, and 2 in this Bourne lineup. Doors leading 1-0, trying to extend their 11-game win streak into an unheard of 12, already at the 6th best win streak in Cape League history, at least modern history. First pitch, fastball below the knees. You want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah.
On what we mean by modern?
Yeah, so the modern era is what they call it in the Cape League, started in 1963. That's when the league became strictly college players.
1-0 from Nastrini. Fastball just does clip the knees. Late call, but a strike.
Yeah, so before that, the college baseball also obviously wasn't as, well cemented as it is now.
Right.
But these guys were playing semi-professionally.
1-1 is a breaking ball that bounces in front of the plate, but still gets a swing and a miss from DiGiacomo.
Because the Commodores have been around since 1923, but the Cape League really started in the 60s. And that's when the Cape League sort of became what it is now, and it's obviously grown throughout the years, but becoming a just summer league for college players.
1-2 is an off-speed that misses just a little bit outside.
So the longest winning streak since 1963, when they started keeping track of that modern era, was Chatham in 1966 with 20 games.
Yeah, the Falmouth Commodores will not reach a 20-game win streak. I think it's statistically impossible. Ground ball towards Cantrell at second as he makes the scoop with one hand and throws on to first. A 4-3 putout to kick us off in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, also, they don't have enough time because they only have 7 games left in the regular season.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Yeah. Statistically impossible.
Right. Second longest winning streak was Katuitt in 64. Then you got Katuitt in 2002 at 13 games. 2 teams won 12 games in a row. That was Hyannis in 1988, Yarmouth Dennis in 81. 4 teams have won 11 in a row. Falmouth in 67 and 2019. Katuitt in 1995. Chatham in 1965.
First pitch to the righty Judd Fabian, who's 0 for 2, is lined foul towards the Bourne dugout and sent 1 or 2 of their players sitting on the water coolers head over heels tumbling. Don't they realize that they have a net in front of them that blocked the ball so they didn't have to dodge away? No balls, 1 strike to the Florida Gator, who's having a long conversation with his teammate Langworthy before the ball game. But Langworthy and Fabian got to pitch at each other yesterday as that pitch up in the zone is swung on and missed. The final out of game number 1 was
Gator Bowl.
It was the Gator Bowl against Judd Fabian. Austin Langworthy got the best of him. Managed to strike him out swinging to cap off a 4-2 Falmouth win. 0-2. Again, bounced foul right near the same spot in the Bourne dugout. The Braves, meanwhile, comparatively to the Commodores, 4th place in the Western Division on a 3-game losing streak, 3-6-1 in their last 10, and 10 games back of these Doors. 0-2. Lofted into deep left field. This one is hooking, and foul. No, they call it a home run. Third base umpire Rick Emerson twirls the finger, and that's just the wrong call. The tomahawk chop is ringing out at Doran Park in Bourne off of a home run from a third base umpire who's having a rough day.
I mean, the Commodores, looking at this defense right now, they can't believe it. Trey Cruz has his arms outstretched. So does Steven Moretto at third base, Jackson Coots at first, and most notably, Matt Nelson at home plate. He's looking right down that same line into left field. And he can't believe it.
That we have the perfect angle at it. Rick Emerson is standing right along the line. He had the perfect angle at it, and it fell about 15 feet to the left of the foul pole. So unless he's saying that it hooked inside the foul pole,
that is what he's saying,
and turned around it. But I don't think that with that, as the first pitch fastball in the outside corner is called for a strike, I don't think that with that launch angle, how high it was, that's physically possible.
It landed, as you said, 15 feet foul, and Emerson knew that. He's saying that, because you see this sometimes in the major leagues too.
Ball misses low off the plate.
And it is a tough call to make, because sometimes the ball is above the foul pole on one side or the other. See the same thing in football with the goalposts, right? You have to then basically extend the poles up and say, all right, when it crossed, the depth of the pole, was it fair or foul? Emerson's saying that it went above and fair and then landed foul as it was hooking.
1-1 becomes 2-1 after a fastball misses high, but this fastball paints the knees to make it 2 balls and 2 strikes. But again, from our angle and everybody here on the first base side bleachers, just a chorus of boos pretty much, because, I don't know, just did not look like it that way. 2-2 from Nastrini, spiked in the dirt, makes the count full. I mean, you're right. That's a tough call to make, and it's a risky one if you're Emerson, because that's a guessing game. You're just assuming that, like, oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
When most of what your eyes are telling you is definitely not.
That pole is maybe 25, 30 feet, and that ball was probably hit, 150, 200 feet in the air, maybe more?
Ground ball right at Hayden Cantrell. This should be the second out of the inning. He slowly throws it on to first. 2 out.
You know what I love, though, is Nastrini's response. When everyone else on the Commodores' defense, and rightfully so, were incredulous at the call, he shakes it off and was literally waiting on the mound, like ready to catch a baseball and get into the windup again. I think that's a tremendous example of maturity. It shows it's something out of his control that he can't then change, and he's ready to lock in. And he does just that against Xavier Warren.
Well, after all that fanfare, confusion, and disgust at the call from the Commodores' infield and outfield, Judd Fabian improves his summer with that home run, make it his 6th home run, continues to lead Bourne in that category. Ties up the ball game at 1 apiece. First pitch to the lefty Brendan Rivoli is tapped foul right near us. 2 outs, both of them ground outs to the second baseman Cantrell, as Nastrini continues to keep the ball low. And that home run from Fabian as well was another low pitch that he just was able to get under, and has a lot of strength in that frame. The 0-1 from Nick. Check swing, another tapper foul. Quickly 0-2.
I mean, that's got to be one of the best responses to a missed call I've seen on the Cape. He didn't complain once, at least that I saw, and I'm sure he's frustrated with it, right? But he then gets back on the mound and just starts firing strikes yet again.
I'm pretty frustrated. I mean, Rick Emerson was already badgering at Nick Nastrini a couple times a couple innings ago. 0-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Nastrini responds very well. Gets a ground out from Xavier Warren, and now a swinging strikeout against Brendan Rivoli, and that will end the 5th inning. Bourne scores 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. We'll go to the 6th, tied up at 1.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Welcome back to windy Bourne, Massachusetts, as the Commodores and the Braves now tied up at 1 as we enter the top of the 6th inning. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korsanowski on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. It was a controversial solo home run back in the 5th inning off the bat of Judd Fabian that tied this ball game up. Now the Doors will get back to work. They'll be led off by Jackson Coots, the big lefty from URI, who watches a fastball sit high. Jared Poland out for his 2nd inning of work. Ran into a little bit of trouble his first time. Allowed 2 singles, but did rack up 3 Ks as he throws a strike on the inside part of the plate that Coots doesn't like, a ball and a strike.
Falmouth's got to be careful here, and I know that they didn't like the home run call. Commodores talking about it in the dugout. Jeff Trundy clearly upset with it as well, as another foul ball goes. Well, foul, right? That wasn't fair, was it? No. Okay.
Rick Emerson might have a differing opinion.
But what I'm going to say is you just got to wipe that away now. It's a tie ball game. You got 4 innings left. No extra innings now for the rest of the summer on the Cape. Just get the bats going and put it in the rear view.
1-2, lined into center field. That one is going to be snagged out on the outfield grass by Morissette. His throw onto first is in time thanks to a great scoop from Cade Beloso. Looked like it was going to be a sure single, but Morissette, playing deep towards the middle of the infield, is able to record it for an out.
He's really solid at short. He's one of the best shortstops we've seen this summer. Making a barehanded play on the Zach DeLoach single. The throw is just a half a second late. Nothing more he could have done, but he's got tremendous range. He's very composed, and he's been making it look easy over at shortstop this evening.
Big lefty from Georgia Tech, Barron Radcliffe, will come up to the plate. 1 for 2 on the day. Had a single back in the 4th. He watches a ball sink below the knees. 1-0. Radcliffe now has hits in 8 of his last 9. That pitch misses way upstairs. Ball 2. Here's an interesting stat I saw on Barron Radcliffe. This is not the best on the team because Taylor Smith has fewer at-bats, but in a guy with as many at-bats as Radcliffe, 13 at-bats per home run. Fastball cut on and missed. 2-1. That's a pretty insane rate.
It's not bad.
That he's getting up, say, every 4 games. A little less than that,
right,
getting a home run.
Well, when I was talking to Bruce Hack, who's one of the Cape League historians who informed me on the winning streak last night.
Poland's 2-1 is bounced right back at Morissette. He fields it on a quirky hop, throws it on to first. Back-to-back 6-3 putouts for 2 outs in the 6th.
He was telling me about Barron Radcliffe, and that 8 RBI game against Chatham was the 2nd highest RBI total in Cape League history.
Really?
Yep. He said he was 1 away from the record at 9 RBIs.
That's something that surprises me because, I mean, in a summer league like the Cape with great players, you might expect more crazy instances like that to happen.
Yep, so 8 RBIs for Radcliffe against Chatham was 2nd most in a Cape League game ever.
First pitch to Steven Moretto is a breaking ball that misses outside. Very historic season for the Doors with this winning streak. Barron Radcliffe putting himself in the history books. I'm sure there's one more feat that they want to mark up as this fastball is cut on and missed. Again, it's been 39 years since the Doors last won a Cape League championship, so you may win 11 straight games. You may put yourself individually in some record books, but I think they're all looking for one goal. Here's the 1-1 to Steven. A fastball just does clip the knees. About shin high, but an interesting frame by Cal Cristofori gets the strike call. That one was low. I'm going to level it with you.
That 39-year drought, the longest in the Cape League.
Poland's 1-2. Fastball up and in. This time it is called a ball.
Next after that is the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who last won in 1991.
They will not be winning it this year.
That is correct. Officially eliminated from playoff contention.
Poland's 2-2. Breaking ball off the dirt. Full count now to Steven Moretto, who so far on the day is 0 for 2, a ground out and a pop out. Haven't seen the real hard contact that we're used to from Steven over the last couple of days. Again, Moretto's been red hot, had a 3-run home run yesterday in Game 2. And then against Orleans a couple days before that, had a home run. Payoff pitch. High fly ball, but foul.
Right now, it seems like the wind is getting sucked out of the sails of the Commodores with that call on the fair ball home run, as well as some of these strike calls. And right now, the bats have been quieted.
3-2 yet again. Fastball middle. That's fouled away. Steven looking at that left hand. Looked like he lost grip of the bat a little bit as he tries to squeeze some more pine tar onto his batting gloves.
Doors held without a hit in their last few batters. 2 ground outs here in the 6th and a strikeout from Cruz with runners on the corners in the 5th.
3 straight retired by Jared Poland, who's now thrown 35 pitches. His 36th is lifted into left field, but it'll hang up long enough for Giovanni DiGiacomo to catch on a line. Down go the Doors, 1-2-3 in the 6th inning, thanks to a couple ground outs and a line out. To the bottom of the 6th we go. Still 1-1 from Bourne.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a...
Bottom of the 6th set to get underway from Bourne. The Doors and the Braves tied up at 1, and Nick Nastrini will not be getting a decision in this ball game after he throws 5 innings of 1-run baseball. Caleb Worster will come on into a tie game to try to keep it that way.
Yeah, and he was kind of gypped out of a shutout. Nastrini giving up 1 earned run now in his last 2 starts. He went 4 1/3 against Wareham with shutout to his name, but now Caleb Worster coming onto the mound, wears number 29, pitches for the Yukon Huskies. And this is his 10th appearance. We see him usually go between 1 and 2 innings, sometimes a little bit over. So I think they're trying to get him to at least the 7th, and then maybe use 1 or 2 arms in the 8th and the 9th.
Caleb has been extremely effective for the Commodores. This season, he's come on into some real tricky situations, and he's gotten out of the jam. The last time he came out to pitch was against Orleans. It was in a 2-0 ball game. He allowed the first 2 runners to reach base, had runners on 2nd and 3rd with nobody out late in the game against the Firebirds. Again, protecting that 2-run lead. Only one of those runs came across, and he was able to get out of the jam and secure the victory for the Doors. He'll have to face just after the heart of the order for Bourne. Glowinky, Morissette, and McKenzie due up against the lefty from Yukon. Rising redshirt sophomore from Rhode Island. Roxon fires a first pitch fastball. Just misses outside. Bob Del Ponte calling the balls and strikes behind home plate. Starting to get a lot more chirps from the dugout on the first base side, as has Rick Emerson, who made that brutal call on a home run. 1-0 is broken bat, grounder over towards Moretto at 3rd. His throw onto 1st is in time. So all's well that ends well as Glowinky is retired on 2 pitches.
And he swings a great bat, man. I really like Jimmy Glowinky for the Bourne Braves. He singles in the 1st inning, a hard hit fly ball in the 4th, and then a broken bat ground ball to the left side. I mean, if that bat stayed intact, it would have been a really tough ground ball to field.
Cody Morissette will now step up to the plate. The shortstop from Boston College is 1 for 2 today. Struck out his first time up, then had a hard hit single in the 4th. Ended up being stranded on 2nd base. Lefty-lefty matchup. Worster's pitch is a fastball loped foul.
So Nick Nestrini's final line, 5 innings of work, 5 hits, an earned run, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. One of his best lines of the summer.
Yeah, and it's consistency again, right?
Yep.
He goes 5 innings, gives up those 5 base hits. Anywhere between 0 and 3 runs is usually expected for Nestrini. Gives up 1 today, and now season high in strikeouts with 7.
The 0-1 tossed into left field. This one is shallow and along the line. Tim Tawa is going to come on in and make the catch just about in foul territory. 2 up, 2 down for the Braves here in the 6th.
Worcester looking really solid. His last time out against Orleans was one of his better outings of the summer, and it wasn't because it was his best line. It was because he buckled down when the team needed him to with runners on base. And runners on second and third with nobody out allowed just 1 run in what was a 1-run victory for Falmouth.
First pitch he throws to the righty, Jake McKenzie. He swings first pitch, shoots one into deep left field. Tawa's back at the wall, and this ball's out of here. Home run off the bat of Jake McKenzie puts the Braves ahead 2-1. That one definitely a home run. Got out deep over the left center field fence. Second time that the Commodores have had to endure the tomahawk chop as Bourne takes that 2-1 lead on a couple of big flies.
Second home run that Worcester's given up this summer. The first was way back on June 23rd, a 3-run bomb from Andrew Eister on the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox, and then a big home run given up by Falmouth here. Bourne now in the driver's seat, up 2-1.
Cade Beloso from Louisiana State now will check his swing on a breaking ball from Worcester, 0-1. And David, I'm going to project something. This has got to be the first time in these entire 11 games, this entire win streak, that Falmouth has trailed after, let's say, the 3rd inning.
Yeah, I totally agree. The only one that I can think of was late against Wareham. They scored 2 runs in the 8th inning. So they were down 1-0 for a majority of that game as strike number 1 comes in at the knees to Beloso. But to your point still stands. They are up early in games a lot, and then the bullpen is locked down after that. Sort of role reversal here. Bullpen falters just a little bit. Worcester giving up the home run, and now the bats are going to have to pick it up in the final 3 innings.
Here's the 0-2 to Beloso. Just misses off the outside corner. Ball and 2 strikes to Cade, who's 1 for 2. A single and a strikeout to his ledger so far. Went 1 for 4 in Game 2 yesterday, 0 for 3 in Game 1, but has been swinging a really nice bat as of late. The 1-2. Just below the knees. I feel like I've seen that one called a strike before. Count even 2-2.
Doors have every reason to be frustrated right now. You just got to get 1 more strike and then get it back to your bats.
Bob Del Ponte behind home plate showing an apparent lack of consistency with the strike calls. It was definitely below the knees, and the good frame by Nelson doesn't get the job done. 2-2, again fouled away.
This would be a big win for Bourne. They would get a season split against the Commodores. Doors right now up 3-2 on Bourne in the season series.
Doors so far 1-1 at Bourne with a 3-0 win and a 14-0 loss. 2-2 yet again, swung on and missed, strike 3. Beloso goes down swinging for the 2nd time in a row, and an ovation rewards Caleb Worcester as he allows only 1 run on the 1 hit. A home run from Jake McKenzie, no errors and nobody left on base. Falmouth trailing. Rarely do they trail, but they are in this ball game. 2-1 as we enter the top of the 7th inning.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal. The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Top of inning number 7, new pitcher for the Bourne Braves coming in. It is a lockdown reliever who they added just recently, Braxton Roxby from Pittsburgh Johnstown University.
So he may be from a college that very few have heard of and maybe doesn't have the best baseball program, but boy, has he been great so far. Over 2 appearances, he's thrown 2 2/3 innings of work, has not allowed a run, has only allowed 1 hit, and has struck out 5. 3 Ks in his first appearance at Orleans in 1 inning of work, struck out the side. 2 strikeouts in his second appearance at Cotuit in an inning and 2/3 of work. So got to be careful with Roxby, definitely a high strikeout pitcher.
In his first outing of the summer, he went up against the Orleans Firebirds late in that game. Braves were trailing to the Firebirds, and he pitched 1 inning and struck out the side. Talk about a welcome to the Cape League. Then he strikes out 2 more batters against Cotuit in an inning and 2/3. One of 4 Bourne Braves who was added right before that doubleheader against the Commodores. Roxby going to be a junior next year at Pittsburgh Johnstown. 4.95 ERA last year, a 1.37 WHIP, 5-3 record. Foul ball from Matt Nelson to start off this 7th inning. He had 11 starts, 2 complete games, and in 56 innings of work, he struck out 67 batters and walked just 33.
So Pittsburgh Johnstown is a D2 in Pennsylvania. And there was 1 game against Seton Hill.
Yep.
That's Seton Hill, not Seton Hall.
Yes, sir.
Another D2 school. 12 strikeouts in late April.
Check swing. Appeal down to first. He did not go around. 1-1 the count to Nelson. And that was a complete game, almost shutout. Pitched 7 innings, and that game was shortened. 12 Ks. Unbelievable numbers. Here's the 1-1. Fastball popped foul, moving over as Xavier Warren into foul territory, and he makes the catch, 1 down.
Doors bats right now just kind of look lethargic. It seems like Jared Poland was able to settle them down real quickly. Despite allowing a couple of singles in the 5th inning, Doors went down on 3 strikeouts. So again, didn't really force Poland to do too much work with those runners on base. And then in the 6th, he threw a 1, 2, 3 innings. So everything except for that 1 at bat from Trey Cruz on the home run has been pretty stagnant for Falmouth.
Bourne pitching's looked good in this game. Graybeck starting the first 4 innings, allowing just 1 earned run, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Blake Dunn shows bunt, but can't put it in fair territory. It's fouled back into the brick backstop behind. Jared Poland comes in for 2 innings of relief, gives up 2 base knocks, walks none, strikes out 3, and now Roxby trying to work for the next couple innings for Bourne. Big right-hander, stands at 6'3", 215. Check swing, he didn't go around. 1-1.
He's got excuse me. He's got an explosive delivery.
Yeah.
When he comes off the rubber, like he's almost like twirling himself up like the Tasmanian devil, ready to go.
He's a big boy, and he's definitely deserves this spot here on the Cape. The 1-1. Curveball tagged down the right field line, foul. I missed it. What happened?
The entire Falmouth dugout yelled out home run. Ugh, Rick Emerson deserves it, though. It's tough.
Falmouth trails by a run here in the top of the 7th. The 1-2 from Roxby. Ground ball over towards Morissette. He has been a vacuum. Quick throw onto first. 2 down.
I love that from Cody. The fact that he knew that Dunn has so much speed, kind of kept that in the back of his head and immediately fired a strike onto first base knowing he couldn't waste any time. It was a hard hit ball, was, by all means was a pretty routine ground out. But we've seen Blake more times, more than once beat out ground balls like that you would think he'd be surely out on because the fielders don't realize.
Morissette, he gets the ball into his throwing hands so quickly.
Yeah.
He is
great hands.
An extremely proficient fielder. 2 down here in the 7th. Doors in danger of their second straight 1-2-3 inning. There's a strike to the switch-hitting Hayden Cantrell, who's had a tough night at the plate so far. He walked and made it all the way to third base in the first inning. Struck out in the 3rd and struck out in the 5th. 1 time swinging, 1 time looking. 6 hits for both of these teams. The Braves, 2 solo shots to give them a 1-run lead on the Falmouth Commodores. The 0-1 swung on and missed. There's the fastball right down the chute. It's 0-2.
Hayden seems to be guessing in this ball game. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Did walk back in the first inning, but compared to what we saw from him the last couple days where he was tattooing every baseball that came his way, right now it seems like everything that's thrown at him, he's not expecting. He's just kind of putting defensive swings on.
The 0-2. Swung on a miss, strike 3. High fastball gets Cantrell swinging. The Doors have been retired 7 in a row now. They go down with a pop out, a ground out, and a strikeout here in the top of the 7th inning. 2-1 Bourne as we head to the bottom half of inning number 7. You're listening to the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Bottom of the 7th inning, David Korzanowski joined alongside Danny LaRose. We've talked a lot about this call tonight because it's been the difference in the game so far. The solo home run from Judd Fabian that landed foul, and Katie Florio caught up with Nick Nastrini about it. Katie. And Katie coming in now with some info on Nick Nastrini.
Thanks, David. And after that controversial home run call, I spoke to pitching coach Mike Landry. He was clearly unhappy with the call, but said controversial calls are a part of the game. He also said he's proud of the way Nick responded. He refocused and went right back out to work, getting 2 quick outs after that. So like you mentioned earlier, Falmouth has every reason to be frustrated tonight, but have to focus on getting the next out.
Thank you, Katie. As now Caleb Worster comes in for his 2nd inning of work, and he got tagged for a home run as well.
That home run was actually a home run, though. So at the very least, Caleb can think to himself, well, I got beat, whereas Nastrini, some justice needs to be served.
Cal Cristofori, Giovanni DiGiacomo, and Judd Fabian will come up here in the 7th inning. Strike number 1 down the middle to the catcher. Worster, one of those pitchers who works from the stretch even when the bases are clear. 2nd strike, 0-2.
He's been peppering the strike zone so well. Got out of the first inning he worked on 11 pitches. I thought he was going to get out of it in less than 10, but the McKenzie fly ball just kept on going. The wind helping it out a little bit, sending it over the fence. But he's forced a lot of swings from these guys.
0-2 is at the shins to make it 1 ball and 2 strikes. Worster right now on the losing end, as are the Falmouth Commodores. They have been held off the board in every inning except the 4th. They scored 1 run on the solo shot from Trey Cruz. The 1-2 from Worster. Slapped into right field. Deloach diving, and he can't make the catch. It's down right in front of him, off of his glove. And it's a base hit for Cristofori.
Seems that everything is starting to fall away from the Commodores right now. We saw in the last couple of games where everything was coming up doors. There were some lucky bounces that turned into double plays. There were a couple, errors made by opposing teams that really shouldn't have been made, which, paid dividends for Falmouth, able to squeak by runs on that, take extra bases thanks to that. But right now, getting bad calls from umpires. Deloach, he makes that play 9 times out of 10, and this was the 10th time. So this is just that one off day that the Doors are struggling through.
DiGiacomo now up. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. So is that an error in your book?
No, that's a hit. If you have to slide and dive for it, that's a hit.
Because it was definitely a base hit from Cristofori. He's aboard with nobody out here in the 7th. DiGiacomo shows bunt but pulls it back. It's a strike anyways, 0-1. DiGiacomo going to be a sophomore next year at LSU as well. 275 average his freshman season, 38 hits, 15 RBIs. He's got plenty of speed as well. Ball misses away, 1-1. 29th round pick in 2018, coming out of high school. He was picked by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Growing up in Naples, Florida, went to Canterbury High School. Got a 1-1 count against the UConn Husky, Caleb Worster, who will check back at first. And sliding in is Cristofori.
Got new. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
We got new information. This has been either a rough weekend for umpires or managers have been really upset lately, as we saw a couple managers tossed last night, including a pitching coach. Kelly Nicholson out at Orleans got ejected from their ball game.
He's one of the more verbose managers in the Cape League.
If Jeff Trundy wanted to, he doesn't have an angry bone in his body, but if he wanted to, he had a case against Emerson on the home run call and probably could have gotten tossed.
The 1-1 slides outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. We've explained this a couple times throughout the summer, but these umpires primarily are umpires of Division III baseball games.
And it shows.
Nick Zabilli is in charge of placement. He used to be a D1 and D2 umpire, then moved down himself, and he's in charge of assigning all of the umps to these Cape League games. Ball 3 misses outside, so he goes to guys at his level, D3, and a couple, not often, but a couple that are high school umps as well. Then come to Cape Cod and have to umpire guys who are 1 year away from professional baseball. The 3-1. Outside, ball 4. Caleb Worster gives up a single and a walk, and the Bourne Braves are cooking here in the 7th inning.
And that's brutal for Worster because DiGiacomo was giving himself up. All he had to do was throw strikes, didn't have to be too cheeky with him. He was going to lay down the sacrifice bunt. Yeah, Cristofori was going to reach second base if it was a good one, but it's much better to have a runner on second and 1 out than first and second with nobody out, and that's exactly the case right now because he just couldn't find the strike zone against the guy who was willing to get himself out.
Now a mound meeting for Worster, Steven Moretto, and Matt Nelson. Not often that you see the third baseman coming in to talk to Worster, but he's doing it right now.
Makes sense that it's Moretto. Again, we talk about him a ton, how he's kind of like the cheerleader on this team. He's always got those verbal affirmatives to some of his teammates, always, good jobs, good plays, stuff like that. Celebrates with his boys when they're doing well, and he's going to be the guy who's going to try to pick up his pitcher when he's struggling.
Saw Worster struggle against Orleans. Allowed 2 base runners against the Firebirds. And 1 run. He's already given up 1 run tonight on the home run from Jake McKenzie in the 6th. Working from the stretch, moving off of second base is Cristofori. DiGiacomo's over at first. And there's a ball low.
Worster seems uncomfortable. All of a sudden, this second inning of work, can't find the zone, and he's just missing by a little bit, but they're definitely missing the zone enough.
He's been outside to lefties and a little bit low to the righties. There's a ground ball foul. Commodores in a jam right now. They want to keep this deficit at just 1. They only have the 8th and the 9th to keep this winning streak going. It's at 11 games right now, tied for the longest in franchise history.
You know what would be even more anticlimactic and worse than a loss to end the win streak? A tie. Because then is it still a win streak?
It's an unbeaten streak.
Right. Boo.
The 1-1. Into right field. Deloach with a long run, and he makes the catch. It hung up off the bat of Fabian. 1 down.
That sounded like another broken bat. I think we've seen like 4 or 5 broken bats at this point in this game. I don't know what it is about the lumber in Bourne, but Fabian heard a crack in the middle of the barrel, and he probably would have been able to send it even deeper. I don't think it would have been able to be, say, a double or a home run, but maybe would have been deep enough for the runner on second, Cristofori, to potentially tag up all the way to third, given that it was hit into right field where Deloach is.
Xavier Warren, the switch hitter, batting as a righty against the lefty Worcester. Worcester with a 2.13 ERA coming into this game. Beautiful pitch on the outside, black, strike 1. On deck, Brendan Rivoli, who's 0 for 3. Worcester with that left arm dangling and his glove perched on his right leg. Looks in and shakes off Matt Nelson a couple times. He's still looking in. Finally, stands up and sets in the stretch. Right leg bobbing up and down. It settles. Kicks and delivers. Ball outside.
I'm going to say it. I hate this wind.
Yeah, the wind is a little frustrating tonight. I agree.
Howling at us from like 3 different directions and blowing our papers around.
Yeah, not much you can complain about with the weather in the past few days. Ever since that tornado touchdown on Tuesday, it's been pretty nice, but it is a little windier tonight. There's one that he leaves up. Foul ball. Coots gives chase, but it's going to land amongst the fans and make for a nice souvenir. 1-2.
Coots had to dive out of the way of Jim Fonseca, who's maybe the only umpire who has not warranted any gripes from either side. But as Coots was tracking it down, he had to do a little shimmy around Fonseca, who kind of was looking up at the ball.
I saw that too.
And if that one landed against the fence and in foul territory, and Coots, got slowed down because of the umpire, boy, then every single umpire on this field would be
hearing it.
Yeah.
1-2 to Warren. 0 for 2 today with a flyout, a ground out, and a walk. He's got a runner in scoring position in Cristofori, who started it off with a single. This one's through the right side and into right field. Cristofori is going to stop at third base after a quick throw in from Deloach. So the bases are juiced for Brendan Rivoli.
Good call by Cristofori and the Bourne coaching staff. Warren hit it pretty hard into right field. I think a faster guy probably could have come home. Cristofori only a catcher, so not the fleetest of foot. But Zach Deloach has an absolute cannon attached to his right shoulder. We've seen him more than once throw bullets into home plate and make plays that shouldn't be close, and make sure that players stay up at third base on times where they could have scored against anybody else.
Pressure's on for Falmouth. Pressure is on for Worcester. Cristofori on third, DiGiacomo on second, Warren on first. Here's a ground ball back to Worcester, fields it at his hand, throws home, play made. Caleb Worcester immediately throws home for the second out. What a heads-up play by Worcester.
That's a really hard play to make as well because it was such a high chop. He had to go 5 to 10 feet behind, backpedaling and everything. Comes down with it. By the time he recorded it into his glove, Cristofori was nearly sliding into home plate, so it had to be a bullet to Matt Nelson, and it was a little further than the mound was, so it's a little farther than he's used to throwing, and it had to be accurate. Yeah, he didn't need the tag because it's a force out at home. But there was a lot that could have gone wrong on that play. Worcester could have lost his footing, could have made an errant throw, really anything. We see it a lot from pitchers, but Worcester's showing off that he is looking like an infielder.
Rivoli reaches on the weird 1-2 fielder's choice. 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th inning. He delivers to Gluenke. Foul ball. This is one of the best hitters on Bourne, one of the best hitters in the Cape. 299 average, 6 doubles, 2 home runs, 19 RBIs. Every single ball he's hit today has been well struck.
And he's got 7 RBIs in his last 4 games played. 1 strikeout in 12-plus games.
The 0-1. Keeps it low, swing and a miss.
Man, if you can get through Glowenke in any way, it doesn't have to be a K, but just to get past him, that would be huge because you'd be pretty much done with him for the rest of the game, hopefully.
Falmouth down 2-1. 8 hits for Bourne, and they can take an even bigger lead depending on what happens here. The 0-2 from Worcester. Outside, ball 1.
Got to credit the Bourne hitters. They've got really good eyes. I mean, Worcester's been throwing a lot of strikes. They've been swinging early, and then it seems like the rare ball that he throws, pitch like that misses outside, they seem to lay off. And they've been doing that all game.
Worcester licks his lips, likes the first sign from Nelson. Delivers the 1-2. Just got a piece off the head of the bat. Matt Nelson said he caught it. Appeal down to the third base ump, Rick Emerson, and they say that it's a foul ball off of the dirt. 1-2.
I got to see the replay on this because it did look like it tipped off of something. He's trying to say it hit his kneecap and then his shin guard and then back into his glove. That would be crazy. Oh, we don't have the stream. What am I doing?
Still 1-2. Bases juiced. Chopper over towards Cantrell, and it's past him into right field. 1 run will score. Xavier Warren is coming around into home. It is a 2 RBI single, and it hits Emerson on the throw in.
He's not having a good day.
Rick Emerson gets in the way of the throw from Deloach over towards third base. 2 more runs for Bourne. It's 4-1 in favor of the home team.
Man, when it really looked like Worcester was going to get out of the jam, all of a sudden Glowenke says, well, this is why I'm such a dangerous hitter. As he's got 2 strikes against him, but responds with great 2-strike hitting. Manages to avoid another strikeout. Manages to shoot one into right field, and things start to fall apart for Falmouth as they can't catch a break.
This is now their largest deficit during the winning streak. They trailed by 2 to Wareham. They have yet to trail by 3 during this stretch. Ball number 1 comes low to Cody Morissette. The 1-0. Off of the plate, it's a fair ball. He's going to throw onto first. That'll do it. Worcester upset with himself as he heads back to the dugout. 4-1 now in favor of Bourne. They've scored 1 in 5 and 6, 2 in 7. They have a 3-run advantage on the 11-game streak riding Falmouth Commodores. They got 2 innings to add 3 or more, and we'll be back with it on the other end of the break on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Number 8 from University of Rhode Island, Tyler Brocious.
Here's a right-hander submariner. Not many that the Commodores have seen this summer. This might be the lowest arm slot we've seen all summer. It's Tyler Brocious from URI.
Yeah, he's a teammate of Jackson Coots, so maybe Jackson has some word of advice for his teammates right now. Brocious, a 6.56 ERA through 10 appearances, has racked up 4 saves for Bourne, so unless he wants to go 6
outs, he will get a save in this ball game. 12 1/3 innings of work, 16 Ks to only 5 walks. Hasn't let up a lot of hits, though. 11 hits in 12 1/3. You would think that he'd have a lot of hits allowed with that high ERA, but there have been a ton of outings where he's gone about an inning and a third, 2 innings, not allowing any hits, but it was a pack in the middle pretty much at the start of July where he started to fall off a little bit. His last time out against Hyannis, however, was back to his form from June. He threw 2 innings of work, struck out 3, and faced the minimum.
During his first 5 appearances, he did not allow an earned run. That was across 6 1/3 innings of work. Allowed only 3 hits, walked just 1, struck out 8. Unbelievable numbers to start the summer for Brocious. That's when he racked up his saves as well. Excuse me, he didn't allow a hit.
No, he didn't. He
for
was
his
hitless.
first 5 appearances.
Yeah.
So he threw a near perfect first 6 1/3 on the summer. Tim Tah was trying to change that here with a ground ball over to Morissette. Fields it on a high hop, immediately throws on to first, and it's snagged by Beloso. 1 pitch, 1 out to start it off here in the 8th.
That's what you're going to get with a guy with an arm slot that low is, you know, when you make contact, you're going to be on top of it, and you're just going to pound it into the dirt in front of home plate.
Number 9 from Texas A&M, Zach DeLoach.
Here's Zach DeLoach. 1 for 3 today. His 1 single was on the infield. Legged it out down the first base line. Falmouth needs the middle of the order to wake up here in the 8th and the 9th inning, and this will get it going. Single into center field. Well past McKenzie at second base. 1 on and 1 out.
So Zach DeLoach, a .345 average entering the ball game, starts off 0 for 2, and you're thinking, okay, he's going to sink a little bit. Nope. He responds with 2 more hits, a single in the 5th and a single here in the 8th. This one does reach the outfield, so he improves to 2 for 4, continues his relentless pace on the summer, and the Doors are in business. It is a 3-run deficit, but we've seen stranger things happen. I mean, a couple games ago, this team did win a ball game coming back, scoring 2 runs on only 1 hit.
Here's a deep drive to right field. Back is Rivoli at the wall, and this ball is a ground rule double.
Yes.
Ground rule double, says the first base umpire, Jim Fonseca. The bullpen is joking around saying that that was a home run as well. So now 2 runners on second and third with 1 out.
So it's pretty impossible to tell at this ballpark what's a home run and what's a double because it's a clear fence and it's a low fence. It's like 5 feet tall. So when you see the ball bounce like that, you might think, well, it's beyond the fence, but you can't really tell because there's no value in depth here. There's really no ability to see whether it was. But it is a double for Trey Cruz, and that was another well-struck baseball. He's only got 2 hits, but really could be 3.
We got Ramble. Rhode Island Ram teammates going at it here in the 8th inning. Jackson Coots at the plate. Swung and missed at the first pitch from his teammate Tyler Brocious. The righty Brocious to the lefty Coots. That's a strike on the inside black, 0-2.
Usually what we've seen when teammates face each other is that if they get 2 at-bats, it's usually the pitcher gets the best of the hitter the first time, and then the second at-bat, the hitter comes around and gets on base. Unfortunately for Jackson, it's only 5 outs to work with for the Doors.
2 runners in scoring position for Falmouth. They trail by 3. Low, ball 1. Cristofori really getting into a split.
I saw that too.
As a catcher, he really keeps his legs low and sometimes extends his right leg fully.
He's been doing that all game as well. Interesting tactic from the man behind the plate.
Brocious from the stretch. That low delivery. Golfed foul.
Jackson was right on that one. He teed it up. He sat back on the breaking ball, knew exactly what was coming his way. Just couldn't get around on it quick enough to pull it. Instead, pushed a foul.
Brocious going to be a senior next year at Rhode Island. Had a 2.27 ERA during his best season his junior year. 39 2/3 innings of work, just 6 walks, 32 strikeouts. The 1-2. into right field, a base hit. Coming around to score is Zach Deloach. Brett Becker waves Cruz around, and he slides in safely. Jackson Coots, a 2 RBI single. This game's 4-3.
Jackson Coots has been relentless these past couple games. He had a double in Game 2 yesterday. In Game 1 was 3 for 3, all of them singles, a lot of them looking like that. He so often pulls the baseball on low pitches, too. I mean, that's a really low arm slot from Brocious, we know. A low pitch right around the knees. Jackson stays right on it. He's seen the ball so well lately, really pushing that average higher and higher. He'll be up around 300 once this ball game is over. And again, he's looking like a hero. We saw in this win streak, he had a big 2 RBI double against Brewster that cemented a 3-run Falmouth victory. Well, now he gets the Doors on the board even more in this 8th inning. It's only a 1-run ball game thanks to him.
And still just 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Falmouth, 3 runs on 9 hits, no errors. Bourne, 4 runs on 9 hits, no errors themselves. Here's Barron Radcliffe with Coots over at first. 2 RBI single, brought the Doors to back within 1. Stephen Moretto's on deck, and Falmouth wants more. Brocious delivers. Ball 1, low.
Let's see if it's been 13 at-bats since Barron's last home run. That's his pace.
Right. I didn't know what you were saying at first. The 1-0 is a rising strike right at the thighs, 1-1.
Yeah, great pitch, but there's not much you can do with it if you're Radcliffe, because it looks like it's below your knees, and it goes up, and that's so rare to see from pitchers.
Brocious wears number 8 for the Bourne Braves, brings that chest way down on his delivery and sidearms it in. Ball number 2 misses outside to Radcliffe.
So it's been 9 at-bats since Barron's last home run.
Including the first 3 today?
Yes.
Okay. He's got a hitter's count here with the 2-1 count against him. Swinging a ground ball over towards first. Beloso fields it. Throw on to shortstop. Back to first. Safe. They tried to go the 3-6-1 double play. Instead, they get the lead runner in Coots, and Barron is aboard on a fielder's choice.
Doesn't get the job done, but at least you're keeping yourself alive. Stephen Moretto gets to come up to the plate. He's 0 for 3. At the pace he's at, one would say he might be due. We've seen him hit clutch home runs before. He's got a couple home runs in his last couple games played. I know you're not looking for home run right here, but can't help but hope if you're the Commodores just to try to put Bourne on ice and retake a lead.
Excitement is palpable here in Bourne. First pitch to Stephen Moretto is a ground ball to the left side. High chopper for Xavier Warren. He'll go over to second base and get Barron Radcliffe. 5-4 fielder's choice ends the 8th inning, but the Bourne Braves now just have a 1-run lead thanks to 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. We head into the final inning and a half here on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. The Doors looking for win number 12 in a row, but they still got a little work to do.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Welcome back to the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. We got a pitching change for the Doors, but before we get to that, we got some roads to ride. We got some games to visit. Take me around the Cape League, Danny LaRose.
Well, what would you know? This game is the only one that started at 6 p.m., and it's the only one that is still going on. Every other game has concluded on the Cape, including a doubleheader. That doubleheader was played between the Wareham Gatemen and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. The Gatemen took Game 1 7-1. Game 2, a tie 3-3 between the Hawks and Wareham. We'll head out to Orleans next, where Kelly Nicholson was tossed from the ball game. That was when Brewster was leading the Firebirds 2-0 in the 8th inning, but Orleans maybe were driven by their head coach. Maybe got inspired by him. They ended up tying that ball game 2-2 at Eldridge Park. And then the two games that were not resulted in ties. The Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox defeated the Katuitt Kettleers 9-1. Katuitt continues to struggle, and the Harwich Mariners knock off the top team in the Eastern Division, Chatham Anglers, 5-1.
This is a deep drive on the first pitch thrown by Austin Langworthy, and this ball is definitely a home run, tucking just inside of that left field line. And the Bourne Braves are up 5-3. That's the second home run of the day for Jake McKenzie.
Well, you know Langworthy definitely gets tagged with the long ball quite a bit, and this is his second game in a row in which he is pitching, so you might have some fatigue if you're Langworthy, because as we know, he didn't get to pitch a lot at Florida this past spring, only about 8 innings, and when you're telling a guy, all right, go back out there back-to-back days, it might wear on you a little bit. You're not used to that type of workload. And we've seen him let up the long ball. Like I said, his first appearance against Brewster allowed 4 runs on a ton of home runs. The way he pitches, big looping, slow pitches, easy to sit back and easy to get under it.
Here's Cade Beloso. It takes first pitch inside from Langworthy, and then a strike on the outside part of the plate. Lang likes to work quickly on the mound. He got the save in Game 1 against Bourne yesterday, coming in the 8th inning here on Sunday evening. Ball 2 inside. With a Katuitt loss and a Wareham tie, the magic number for Falmouth is 2. With 2 wins and 4 more points, they will clinch the Western Division title. Foul ball back into the brick backstop, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Slider went outside to Cade Beloso. He strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. 1 for 4 with 3 Ks.
I think Langworthy's a tough guy to register when you're a lefty yourself, like Beloso is, because he's kind of got a lower arm slot than we see from most pitchers. I'm not going to say 3/4, but it's definitely a little bit lower than a lot of guys throw at, and that's so tough to register when you're coming from that angle. You can't see the ball.
Sharp ground ball over towards Cantrell, who fields it on 2 hops and throws on to Coots. 2 down.
Good bounce back by Langworthy after the home run from McKenzie, who's having himself a day. 3 for 4 with those 2 big flies. He's been the difference maker in this ball game. Langworthy buckles right back in, throws only a couple pitches, gets 2 outs.
Langworthy, a guy that the Commodores did not use on the mound until a little bit later in the summer. His first appearance was on July 2nd in a blowout against Brewster. Fires strike 1 to Giovanni DiGiacomo. Then pitched an inning and actually got the win against the Chatham Anglers in that 15-6 drumming out at Veterans Field. Second pitch swung on and missed as well. He keeps going with that off speed. 0-2.
Yeah, so he started out as a position player pitching in blowout games, and since then he's come into a quasi-closer role.
Here's a soft tapper over towards Moretto. Fields it on his glove, throw onto first, but he beat it out. Ton of speed from DiGiacomo, who gets his first single of the night.
And I think in an ideal world, Moretto is able to field that on a bare hand, but instead it kind of came in towards his chest, had to field it with both hands, had a little bit of difficulty getting it out of the glove, and by the time he delivered onto first base, DiGiacomo was about a step ahead of it. Still a very close play, so Moretto showing a little bit of speed and showing a nice arm from third base.
Here's Judd Fabian, who got the Bourne Braves on the board in the bottom of the 5th. It was a solo shot on an 0-2 count, with Nick Nastrini still on the mound for Falmouth. Ball 1 from Langworthy to Fabian. So Gator Bowl Part 2, right?
Yes, true. They faced each other yesterday.
Fabian struck out to end Game 1. He takes a strike down the middle. Ball and a strike. Fabian 1 for 4 with that solo shot that tied the game at 1. Bourne then took the lead 2-1 on a Jake McKenzie solo shot as a foul ball goes towards the Bourne dugout. They added 2 more in the 7th on a 2 RBI single from Jimmy Glowenke. The count was 1-2. There were 2 outs and the bases loaded. Falmouth adds 2 more in the top of the 8th. And Bourne comes back out here in the bottom half of the inning. And another solo shot from Jake McKenzie to make it 5-3. Ball at the ankles, 2-2. Lights are on here at Doran Park. And here's a shot into right center. Blake Dunn's moving over, as is Zach Deloach, who makes the catch on the run out in right field. It's the 9th inning, folks. It is a 5-3 lead for the Bourne Braves, and 3 outs away from ending the Commodores' winning streak are the Bourne Braves. Falmouth will try to add 2, if not more, and we'll be back with it on the other end of this break. You're listening to the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Kieran Shaw makes his 14th appearance. Goes to Harvard University. Ever heard of it?
Nope.
This is now appearance number 14. Every single one of them except one was an inning flat. He's allowed only 2 earned runs all summer in 12 2/3 innings of work. So the Doors have their work cut out for them here in the 9th.
Yeah, I think Kieran is probably the closer for Bourne. He's got 4 saves in those 13 appearances, and like you said, only throws about an inning, so it's save situations pretty frequently, and otherwise it's also close games. There have been wins that he's been in that have been decided by 1 run. I'm looking at 3-2 scores, 2-1 scores, 4-2 scores, and then a couple losses, also really close games. You know, a 4-1 loss, a 3-1 loss. So he's never come into a game that has been separated by larger than two or 3 runs. And this one, much of the same for Shaw, and he's been locked down. You know, why not go back to him? He's been your workhorse, and he's been all reliable for you.
In 8 of his 13 appearances, he has faced the minimum. Last time out against Hyannis, he faced 5 batters in 1 inning, gave up 1 hit and walked 1, but then he struck out the other 3 batters. Outing before that was an inning of work against Katuitt. He faced the minimum and struck out 2. Dora's winning streak, historic winning streak, is on the line. They've won 11 in a row. First pitch to Matt Nelson is fouled back into the screen. It was a fastball right down the middle.
Yeah, interesting approach.
It's the first time the Commodores are going up against Shaw. He's going to be a senior next year at Harvard. 3.96 ERA his junior season with 13 saves. So he was the closer for the Crimson as well. Foul tipped into the mitt, off speed. Makes it 0-2.
Yeah, it looked like a changeup that was really, really slow. Both of them, both these pitches, the fastball and the changeup right down Broadway. Nelson just unable to time it up perfectly.
Shaw, the righty from the windup to the righty Nelson. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 3 pitches, 1 strikeout, and the Commodores' win streak is now down to 2 outs to stay alive.
I'm surprised that Nelson wasn't able to make contact on any of those. There's 3 real juicy pitches. He liked all of them, swung at all of them. You know, no gripes that he could have with the home plate umpire, and just couldn't connect. Whatever happened, whatever changed between yesterday and his first couple at bats today has been for the worse, as his final 3 at bats to cap off this ball game, all outs.
Fastball swung on and missed from Blake Dunn. Started the day 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, then grounded out in the 7th. On deck, Hayden Cantrell. Shaw, with that glove hand perched right in front of his chest, settles and delivers. Check swing, he went around. 0-2.
It's about a chin-high pitch, and it's one of those where it, you know, turns you around.
5 pitches, 5 strikes for Kieran Shaw. This would be a big win for the Bourne Braves. They would get to break up the Commodores' winning streak, and they would get a season split with the Doors. Curveball. Dunn lays off 1-2.
It was a good one, though. Had real late break. Cristofori from behind home plate pointed at his pitcher, said, nice one. Got to keep it there every time. Blake almost went around.
The 1-2. Curveball, strike 3, right down the middle. Blake Dunn held off. 2 up, 2 down, 2 Ks. And the 11-game winning streak is down to its final out.
Doors have had chances a couple of times. Stranded 2 on base back in the 3rd, stranded 2 on base in the 5th. Just looking for that big hit, haven't really got it. I mean, the home run from Cruz was a solo shot. Jackson Coots' RBIs were pretty big. That's really the only big hit that you can account for with runners on base. Otherwise, Doors have been pretty lifeless.
There's a ball to Hayden Cantrell to start things off here with 2 down in the top of the 9th inning. Shaw looking for save number 5. Bourne looking for win number 16. The 1-0. Below the knees, 2 balls and no strikes.
We've seen this team put together 2-out rallies. Saw it yesterday when Steven Moretto was able to hit a home run. Very important home run. It was a 3-run shot in a game that was decided by only 2 runs. All those base runners got on with 2 outs.
Here's the 2-0. He lays off. It's a strike on the outside black, 2-1. Commodores lost 2 weeks ago to the day. July 14th in a 7-0 loss out at Yarmouth Dennis. They have won 11 straight since then. The 2-1, just outside, 3 balls and 1 strike.
Great eye by Cantrell. Some of these have been pretty close. You're seeing a guy in Shaw who threw only strikes through the first couple of batters. Cantrell deciding he's not going to be too over anxious and watch a couple pitches.
The 3-1, swung on and just fouled back. 3-2. Commodores down to their final strike. 5-3 the score here in Bourne, Massachusetts. Last time the Commodores played here, they lost 14-0 to the Braves. It seems like a year ago. Here's the payoff pitch. Foul ball into the screen, and Cantrell stays alive.
I was going to say it on the previous pitch on the foul ball, but this one, the point remains. Both him and Nelson put on some swings with some foul tips that really looked like if they were able to straighten it out, could have sent it for a ride.
Yeah.
So Shaw's kind of playing with fire, throwing middle into so many of these hitters.
Shaw begins that windup and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Kieran Shaw gets his biggest save of the summer, strikes out the side against the Falmouth Commodores.
That's the ball game, folks.
And the Commodores' winning streak has come to a close. They win 11 straight from July 15th to July 27th and etch their names in Cape Cod League history, tied for the 6th longest winning streak in the modern era. But Danny, this one stings.
Yeah, this one's tough to swallow because it really seems like you said it best back in the 5th when it happened. The wind was taken out of their sails after a questionable home run call. It ends up being a 2-run loss, so it's not the deciding run in the ball game, but at the time it was 1-0. Nick Nastrini was looking excellent on the mound. Lets up a home run from Judd Fabian that looked like it fell about 10 or 15 feet, foul of the foul pole along the left field line. And when that happens, Falmouth starts getting on the umpires, start maybe getting a little down on themselves for not squeaking across a couple more runs when they had more chances earlier in the game. And it just started to feel like things weren't going their way. After they were catching every break in those 11 games, started to drop a few more in this ball game, and it turned out to be too many that they couldn't keep up.
So the game was 1-0 heading into the bottom of the 5th. Judd Fabian goes yard off of Nick Nastrini on a call, and a ball that landed about 15, 20 feet foul. The Doors couldn't believe it. But really the long bomb, not just that one from Judd Fabian, but Jake McKenzie with 2 shots. That was the difference in this game for Bourne.
Yeah, Jake McKenzie in the 6th inning comes up with 2 outs and nobody on base. Caleb Worster in a 1-1 game was looking excellent, and then he lets up a home run to McKenzie, who comes up in the 8th against Austin Langworthy in another 1-run game, extending the lead for Bourne. So his 2 home runs really were the difference. 6th inning, obviously giving Bourne the lead. 8th inning, giving them a little bit more room of comfort that Kieran Shaw in the 9th inning didn't have to be too stressed out for his save. But yeah, it was McKenzie who was really the player of the game. Got a couple of pitches right down the middle, and he made no mistake, sending them to the deepest parts of the ballpark.
Let's talk about this win streak, Danny. The Commodores lose on July 14th to the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox 7-0. They stand at 13-12-1. But then they win 11 straight. They beat Hyannis, Wareham 3 times, Orleans and Brewster, Wareham again, Orleans back-to-back, and then Bourne twice. 8 of them, 2 runs or less. I mean, the team was remarkable. The pitching staff was outstanding, and really a stretch that we and the team will remember for a long time.
Yeah, they weren't like overtly dominant.
Sure.
And by overtly dominant, I mean they weren't winning 10-0 or 5-0 or 15-5 or anything like that. But they were dominant just because they looked unbeatable. Just because every single time they got a lead, they didn't give an inch.
Right.
And every single time they found themselves in a tie game, they fought back almost immediately and retook that lead or tied up the game or, gave themselves a little bit of separation and got themselves a little bit of insurance. So throughout those 11 games, like you said, none of them were decided by less than 3 runs except for that 6-1 Orleans game, which they tacked on the insurance in the 9th inning. So every game was close, including this one, the loss. But every single game was close, but they just looked so dominant in them because everything was so sound, everything was so smooth. Started with the pitching, the hitting was great, and I think that that's going to be a trait that's going to stay. Even though the loss breaks up the win streak, this game was a close one, 5-3. When they got down 4-1, Jackson Coots responded with an RBI single with 2 outs, brought home a couple runs. They brought it back within 1. It was still a close loss that the Doors suffered through. Had a couple of tough breaks not go their way, couple of bad calls, couple of balls that found grass that maybe shouldn't have in other situations. So it's definitely a winnable game, and I think that's a good thing for Falmouth.
Falmouth Commodores lose for the first time in 2 weeks. Again, the last time they lost 7-0. On July 14th, they win 11 straight, tied for the 6th longest winning streak in the Cape League and the longest winning streak in Falmouth history with the team back in 1967. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's not the Doors night, but they come up losing 5-3. The Braves score 5 runs on 11 hits, no errors. Falmouth, 3 runs on 9 hits, no errors. Caleb Worcester gets the loss. He moves to 2-2 on the summer. Jared Poland gets the win. He moves to 3-1. And Kieran Shaw gets save number 5. Thanks for joining us throughout this winning streak, which has come to a close. And be sure to be tuning in tomorrow night. Last 6 games of the regular season coming up. And this team will continue to be fun to watch. For my producer, Max Trink, and our sideline reporter, Katie Florio, and, of course, my broadcast partner, Danny LaRose, I'm David Korzanowski saying so long from Doran Park here at Bourne, Massachusetts. We will be back tomorrow at Hyannis, 12 p.m. first pitch, so be sure to set your alarms because I'm going to be having trouble doing that. We'll see you then.